But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's
soft-ass kids.
Maybe there's supposed to be lightning. You know, if there's a lightning delay, then it's a half-hour delay. And then if you come back and there's another sighting. So maybe if there's possibility of any stormy weather and not just rain, maybe that's why they moved it.
We had one of those. Let's see, my first year in the box. So 2 years ago, we had one of those games. Burns was at home. And they were playing, it doesn't matter, I couldn't remember. But it was at the house. And it was early in the season, but it may have been week 1 of the NFL season. In fact, I know it was because there was a Friday night contest between the Cowboys and somebody. And the weather came through, and initially they were going to play it in the rain because it was expected just to be a rainstorm. Ended up being a lightning storm. And so they had to push the game back. Well, they kept pushing it back, but saying we're going to play. And I think they said they were willing to kick off as late as like 11 p.m. to play that game. And it started getting so bad, they told everybody, you have to leave the stadium. They sent the kids back into the locker room. And they were telling us, hey, you're on hold, you're on pause. Like, we're going to play the game. It might kick off as late as 11. And so nobody really told me what was going on until it started torrential downpouring. And I was in the press box at Nixon Field. Sam and Lane, the fantastic color commentary and sideline reporter that joined Cole Bryson, the voice of the Rebels here for Burns Rebel Football in the Fan Upstate. Those guys had went down to the locker room to talk with the head coach and find out what was going on, right? Like, do you have any updates, whatever? And when they got down to the locker room, the skies are big. I don't know why I felt the need to do a rain sound, but here we are.
It was authentic.
I felt good about it. So started raining. I'm in the press box completely by myself. They're down trapped in the locker room. And I'm going to say it was actually one of the coolest things ever. Not hanging out in the press box by myself solo, but somebody over in the other media box, whatever it is on the other side of the field, dialed up and put the Cowboy game up on the giant Jumbotron that's at the end of the field at Burns. So basically, we were all sitting in different buildings, but all watching the game, the Dallas game on the big Jumbotron. And the whole Burns crew was just texting each other about the game that we're all watching from different parts of the field. I think they kicked that game off at like 10:15.
I don't believe that was legal, by the way. But who cares? Statute of limitations.
Yeah. What are they going to do now? Game's 2 years old. Get over it, NFL. Shut up, Roger Goodell.
That field doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't even prove it really happened. All right. Maybe I'm just lying. Maybe I'm just fibbing on the radio for a good story. Who knows? All right. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. Happy Thursday, dudes and dudettes. We do have Burns Rebels football tonight right here on the Fan Upstate. We also have some NFL football going down tonight. Over in the National Football League, Josh Allen and his Buffalo Bills taking on Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, the most accurate quarterback in the National Football League.
Is Tyreek driving to work? Probably not a good move.
He might. I mean, he's not. They didn't take his license away
that we know of.
I mean, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he acted like a jerk, but what he ultimately got put away. That sounds way worse than it was. He obviously did act like a jerk. And we haven't really talked about this yet, frankly, because it's certainly a sports adjacent story, but I mean, if we're keeping it a buck, the lead of this story ain't sports, right? What happened outside of Hard Rock last Sunday ain't sports.
And all this is proof that you and I both know this. Never say, do you know who I am? Because it doesn't matter who you are. In the end, don't act like you're bigger than, I mean, there are problems on both sides, but don't act like you're bigger than, just say yes, sir, no, sir, and then go on.
I don't have an issue with that, but I also am absolutely a believer that, yes, Tyreek acted like a jerk. We're all going to agree he did. And at the same time, he did not do anything illegal. Did he act like a jerk? Yes. It turns out, and I've learned this many times in my life, acting like a jerk isn't illegal. Acting like a butthole is not an arrestable offense. Okay? So As Alonso said, appropriately and correctly, were the mistakes made on both sides? Absolutely. Tyreek acted like a jerk. However, acting like a jerk is not an arrestable offense. It's not a crime. Everything Tyreek did is within his constitutional right of how to act during a traffic report. Okay? Is it the right way to handle it? I would argue no. The problem you're going to bump into is that what one particular police officer did is above and beyond. And I've spoken with, I come from a family that has multiple law enforcement officials in it. I've spoken, I asked them their opinion in case it came back up. And what I got told was, yeah, Tyreek acted like a jerk, but he did not do anything that is, below reproach. He didn't do anything that should have ended with him being thrown to the ground face down and detained in that moment. He was not arrested. He was detained. There's a difference. And then obviously when you got Calais Campbell involved, you kind of went one step further in that direction. Like I said, this story is more sports adjacent than it is sports, but it did happen to one of the NFL's biggest professional athletes. And by the way, on top of all that, Tyreek's kind of been a jerk his whole career, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Tyreek Hill's been an angel as a person over the years. He certainly is not. But again, there was a lot of mistakes made during that entire incident. A lot of mistakes made. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, the people in a situation like that who are wearing the badges and are the authority figure are held to a higher standard. So that's kind of that whole thing.
So what you're saying is he's not driving to the stadium tonight.
What I'm saying is if I was Mike, I'd probably go ahead and get Tyreek an Uber. I'd probably send a Lyft over to Reek's apartment and get them to pick him up and bring him back. I'd get him I'd spring for the Uber XL. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't get him
I've never Ubered before.
Oh, okay. So. As a frequent Uberer as somebody who has used Uber to get home from particular upstate watering holes many times, because as I say, don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. All right. I practice what I preach. I Uber a lot. All right. As somebody who's Ubered many times, you got multiple options for the Uber. You can go the traditional Uber, in which case just any car will do, right? It could be not any car. Like, Uber drivers got to have nicer cars. They can't just show up in like a 65 jalopy, right? But you got your basic Uber, which could be, a Corolla, whatever. Then you got Uber XL. Uber XL is usually a bigger car. That's the folks who were showing up in SUVs or the minivans or whatever. And then you got Uber Black. That's the folks who got the nice rides. That's when you want to get home from the bar in style. You got the Uber Black. If I was Mike McDaniel, I would spring for the Uber. Speaking of Mike McDaniel, did you see him after the game last weekend? Did you see him in his post-game presser after Sunday? See real quick, great one, if you can find a picture or a video from Mike McDaniel after the game was over in the post-game press conference on Sunday. Something's up with Mike, all right? Last year, Mike was one of the most adorable dudes. And so adorable that I'm comfortable saying adorable. That's how adorable he was. After the game this past Sunday, which was a real good game. That game was real good, and it was a fight. But after that game, Mike McDaniel did his presser. He looked strung out.
He's got the fro going almost.
Yeah, but it's like it's almost like Jerry curled a little bit. Right? Like he
You trying to say that's not natural? That could be natural.
No. He's got product in there. He 100% has got product in there. As a frequent product user, he's got product in there for sure, for certain, no doubt. I think I don't know. I watched a little bit of that video, and Mike looked like Mike was, I don't know, kind of over it.
Well, they did just lose, didn't they? No, they won. Never mind. They won the game, but I mean, there was a little, as we were talking about, something happened before the game that's going to mess you up a bunch.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I didn't. Was he still his normal snarky self?
Yeah.
Though?
Snarky's not the right word. Mike's not snarky. Mike's just a dork. Mike's one of us. For certain, Mike's one of us.
I think he might be a little snarky.
No, Mike's just a dork. Mike's a dude. Mike's the socially awkward guy who got put into the public relations role for no reason. That's what Mike is. I forgot. I accidentally deleted it. I'll see if I can find it during the break. Somebody compiled a video montage of interactions between Mike McDaniel and NFL referees last year. And it's adorable, right? Like there's one point he walks over and he's talking to a pair of referees and he introduces himself. He's like, "Hi, Coach McDaniel. Mike, nice to meet you guys." The refs introduce themselves. They're like, "That's a good firm handshake you got there. I feel like I can trust you guys as refs."
Wow. So you're saying that's not snark. That sounds like snark.
No,
to
it's
me.
not.
Okay.
Here's the thing. They have the video of him. He's like smiling and happy. He's very genuine. He's very genuine. I think you just don't like him because he's the coach of another AFC.
No, I love Mike McDaniel.
He's the best.
You're missing the point. I appreciate his snark. That's not a crack. I appreciate people with snark, and I think he has it. I really do think he does. I think he's got that smile like I can get away with this and you can't tell if I'm being a smart aleck or not.
I mean, I do think he sets himself up for when it is time to be snarky. I don't think he is snarky. I think he sets himself up where he can play off genuine, criticism, whatever, as just Mike being Mike. It's just Mike being Mike.
All right. You've never heard him on the air, but Greg McKinney was like that. Just smiling, pretty likable, but his snark was, I called him a snark ninja.
A snark
because
ninja.
Not everyone got it. Not everyone caught what he did, but he would just look at me and wink or just smile just a little bit because I knew what he did. And I think that's how Mike.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But the video I saw, and again, I'll see if I can find the audio. I deleted it the other day. It may still be in my recycle bin. But the audio I had of Mike the other day was it was just cute, okay? It was just cute. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You know what?
Time you need to talk to me during the game, just let the sideline officials know. I'll come over at the next time.
Phenomenal. I'm looking for friendship.
All right, yeah,
All right.
that's right. So am I.
Yeah.
Frank Sterico, good to see you. Jim Mello, Coach McKinney. How are
Awesome,
you?
guys.
Yeah.
Those are nice, strong handshakes with eye contact. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing me the respect and regard. I'll do the same.
I wasn't in a position to work.
Whoa. Whoa. Are we trying to have personal accountability right now? I love it.
No, I wasn't in position
Yeah.
because we had
It's all good.
because of the
Yeah.
spot. And
100%.
that's why I kind of held it and didn't let him go too quick.
Got it.
So,
Makes
no
sense.
subs.
Hey.
You know why we did it.
Hey, that's why you guys are great.
I love it. He's adorable.
Yeah,
He's adorable.
Come on, dude. That's about as snarky as you can get.
That last clip, I know exactly what happened in that last clip. So in that last clip, there was a no call against the Dolphins. Mike called over the referee to complain about it. The referee came over, and as you heard him go, he goes, "Hey, I wasn't in a position to make a call." He goes, referee all but admits, like, "Yep, should have been a flag, but I wasn't in the position. I couldn't make the call." And he apologizes. And Mike, trying to make a joke of it, goes, whoa. Is that personal accountability? Because let's keep it a buck. And this is why I know that Mike McDaniels, he's a man of the people. Because what is the thing when I've complained about referees all these years? And by all these years, I mean forever. What is the thing I've always said? I want accountability. And when I say I want accountability, please understand, I would accept even accountability from the officials, from them. If they were to get out, I have said for years, the best thing the NFL could do, NBA, MLB, same, especially you, MLB. Golly, your umpires suck. Would be to have a post-game press conference with the officials, just like you do with the players and the coaches. Put them up there and let the media go, hey, CB Buckner, in the 6th inning with 2 outs, Austin Riley's at the plate, and you called a strike that was 4.75 inches off the plate. What did you see? Why was that your call? And make them answer. Hold them accountable, right? Mike spoke in that moment for me, spoke for the fans. He's like, is that an official taking personal accountability for a mistake? I'll take it, because that's the first step in getting better. And my favorite part was that the referee thought that it was Mike being a butthole to him. The referee just assumed this is an NFL head coach giving me crap, when Mike was genuinely like, good on you for taking a personal responsibility for the blown call. Good for you.
Ninja.
Nah, I think he was good. All right. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get to today on the show. We do have a Thursday night NFL contest. We're going to talk about that. We got a slate full of college football games we need to get to as well. We will do that. Lulu Kesson at 8 o'clock stops by to talk Gamecock football with us as they get set to host game day and take on the LSU Tigers. Then we got Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast coming by at 8:40 to get us set up for Panthers v. Chargers up in the bank. And Lonzo's got Fight Club at 9:20. All coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Not world.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you.
Or are you worried about guns or something? I don't know.
You know, I got to tell you, I've been around a bunch of fights. It makes me sound like a hard ass, but I've been around a handful of fights, and it probably is bad of me, but that's never popped in my brain. And I've always kind of assumed that, like, unless I get directly involved, I probably can get out fast enough.
Yeah. My problem with those things is people hide behind me. I don't like that. I'm not a meat shield.
Meat shield. Lulu Kesson going to join us at 8 o'clock to talk South Carolina Gamecock football. Rashad Beard at 8:40 to talk Carolina Panther football. And at 9:20, we got Fight Club with the great one Lonzo, which big UFC weekend upcoming this weekend with UFC Noche 308. Is that the right number? 338?
6, whatever the
306?
Spanish word for 6 is.
Sace. Yeah, Sace. Anyway, big night. Good card too. Like, if I'm keeping it a buck, not skipping football, good card, but I'll circle back around to it, good card.
All right. I mean, check and see what game's on when the main event would be on.
I will flip over for Sugar Shane.
Which would be like Sunday.
That's true. I guess it is real late at night.
Yeah, because the main card doesn't start till 10 unless there's some major knockouts.
Golly, is it that late?
Yeah, unless there's that's because it's Vegas time. So
that's right.
Yeah, so they the main card. I mean, the two main events, the double main event, which we'll talk about later, probably won't even start till midnight.
Let's see. 9 o'clock BYU at Wyoming, San Diego State at Cal at 10:30, and New Mexico State at Fresno State. All right, I'll be able to watch it. I'll check in for Sugar Shane. I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see where that goes. Oh, you got one with the other station on it. I can't wear mine anymore. It's got our old logo on it. Can't rock the bowling shirt anymore. It's very disappointing.
No,
I mean, let me phrase that. I still do.
This is the old.
No, I know.
No. That's the old one. That's not. I mean.
Oh, that's right. That is the old station for that one too.
But I'm just wearing it because I want to. I mean, I'm trying to keep that part covered, but it won't stay covered. I mean, it's okay.
You know what? Our co-host and colleague and comrade in the afternoon said to me yesterday when we were on when I was sitting in on Wire to Wire. You know what Diesel said to me yesterday? We got to 5 o'clock. This is the first time I'd done Wire to Wire in a hot minute. And I forgot that they do their 5 o'clock fight segment, 5 o'clock. So Diesel, without reminding me that 5 o'clock fights is coming up, Diesel just goes, and now it's time for the 5 o'clock fight. And I'm like, oh, yep, nope, no, it's not. Stall, hang on, I got this, whatever. I go find the clip, I get it, and I play it. And Diesel goes, the station programming party is tomorrow. Rob Brown screwed that up because he's just been thinking about the last time we went. And I kicked his ass and made him 4th place in a 4-man bowling tournament. And I'm like, whoa. First off, you went with 1 game score, Diesel. You didn't go cumulative across the 3 games we played. Yeah, kind of like an old colleague of ours who rolled 1 game.
It's the Mark method. Yeah, for sure.
Rolled 1 game, got a good score, and went, that's it, I'm done.
I'm sorry, the Mark with a C method.
Yep, that's the one.
I don't want to get confused with somebody else.
My man brought, and we collectively as a station, we haven't been bowling in a year since we did this party last year.
And don't show up. You can't bowl with us. I'm not saying it's a private thing, but it's
well, he means you guys, the listeners. You're not invited.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean,
it's okay. This is Station Celebration. This is a bunch of folks won some Crystal hardware.
So
and
do
we're all
we
going to
want
celebrate.
to? I mean, are we willing to go show against show?
Cole can't come because he's got Burns, so it's just Diesel.
It don't take that long to get to Greer. I mean, they gave them the time off so they could come over there.
I think he said he's coming by for like 1 hour. So I feel like we just
can get that done in 1 hour.
We get 3 games down in an hour.
I mean, we can go 2 games.
I was very dedicated yesterday after he said that at 5 o'clock. I was this close to going over to the bowling alley we're going to this afternoon and getting like 6 games in just to prep, because I have not bowled at all since this last year.
Yeah, same here. I haven't either. So all kinds of physical
Yeah.
problems. I may fall down and really hurt myself tonight, but that's fine. That's fine.
I walked into the Fortress of Nerditude this morning. Lonzo was just standing in the room facing the back wall like the Blair Witch Project. And I'm like, bro, you good? Yeah, I think I'm just having a heart attack. That's how we started the day.
Well, I didn't want to leave my bowling ball down in the car, and I've put on some weight since being in the hospital, and I'm a little out of shape. All right, I'm a lot out of shape, and that extra 20 pounds, it wore on me. It's not the only thing that I carry up the steps. So, and I'm not using the elevator.
All I'm saying is this: if it does devolve or maybe evolve into a show v show competition, because what I'd really like it to be a station v station, that's more fun for me. But if it devolves into a show v show contest, though, I'm gonna need you, bud. Like we are gonna have to trade good games here.
When it matters most, I'm there. I mean, and 2 games. I mean, the wild cards. We don't know what Cole can do. Can he even bowl?
That's also true. I don't know what Cole can do.
I don't know if he can bowl. He looks like a bowler. He looks like a leaguer for sure.
That's a good call. You know what?
He's got leaguer frame. He does.
He's got frame.
He could be on a bowling team with Matt Rule, and it would not look unusual.
Here's what I'm gonna say though. I'm not gonna. I don't think so. All right, I don't think so, because I will say this, and I say this lovingly. All right, and if there's anybody out there that's the exception to the rule, accept my apologies in advance. I don't know. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know any hunting, fishing rednecks that are also good bowlers. I don't know any. Again, I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't know any hunting and fishing rednecks.
Yeah, man, daggum Clinton.
I've been through Clinton. But again, I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying as long as I've been bowling, which is high school, so we're talking well north of 20 years now. As long as I've been bowling, I know a lot of hunting, fishing rednecks, and I know a lot of people who are good at bowling, and I do not know any who are hunting, fishing rednecks that are good at bowling.
All right.
And Cole doesn't drink beer, which if you're going to go like the traditional league bowler, the guy that scares you a little bit, not exclusively, but overwhelmingly, those guys are pitcher guys.
I don't know. Diesel and I were talking yesterday, and he was reminding me last year or whenever it was, there was a dude practicing bowling with both hands. That looks like that could be Cole. That could be Cole.
Yeah, but see, that's a there's actually a name for that style, and it's there are guys on that. What are they called? The PBA tour, the Professional Bowler Tour. There's a lot of guys now that bowl two-handed. They do that weird
No. I mean,
but he was doing granny style.
No, he was bowling with one hand and then he was ambidextrous.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, so did we.
I hate that guy a
couldn't
lot.
Stand that guy. We still watched him because it was amazing. And very annoying that he's able to do that.
Our buddy Jersey Joe's in the chat. He said, if you need a fourth, let me know. Listen, I have no doubt that Jersey Joe would show up and whoop all our tails, and I get that. And Jersey Joe, I will go bowling and drinking a beer with you. Wedding's over. We put together a bowling night. I'll meet you at the lane. We'll go throw some balls around. But we can't call in a ringer for this. This is pride. This is pride v pride. This is show v show. And I will say, while it is show v show, it is show v show to drive both shows to be better, because it's also station v station. Everybody gonna be there. It's station v station today.
By the way, I just want to point out that there are, believe it or not, rednecks in Ohio. And I know it's shocking, but I grew up with a bunch of rednecks in Ohio, and they all did the hunting, fishing thing and can bowl.
Are Ohio rednecks the same as Southern rednecks?
Dude, Russian rednecks. Redneck is it's a lifestyle. It's not really I don't think it's only associated with the South.
You're right. I'm going to agree with that, but I'm going to say...
You're going to say there's not a single mullet in Russia?
No, I mean, there's mullets everywhere. Like,
yeah,
it's back.
Exactly.
I got Joey B out here bleaching his hair. Like, we're bringing back the old school vibes. I think there's redneck's a lifestyle, and then there's types of rednecks. Like, in the South, you got hicks, and you got hillbillies, right? And then I think you can go up north into, like, Tennessee, and you got mountain rednecks. I don't know I've never been to Ohio. I don't know what an Ohio redneck is.
There's a mix of Kentucky and West Virginia in there also. The people moved there to Ohio because there ain't no jobs in West Virginia or Kentucky.
Almost heaven.
That's
West
why
Virginia.
That's why my family moved to Ohio, because there weren't no jobs.
Trey said he threw a strike left-handed once. He's amphibious too.
I often thought of Trey as amphibious.
I get it. All right, let's do this. That was not what I intended there, but I had the memory sparked from yesterday.
Well, the gauntlet is thrown down to people who are not awake.
Guy Cody Rhodes. I mean Joe Burrow.
Neither one of them are awake right now.
Oh, that's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
But point here is, I was just sitting in yesterday producing that show, trying to do my good deed for the day.
Which I really appreciate.
Oh, for sure. Happy to do it for you. I didn't do it for them. I did it for the great one. Happy to help. And then he just starts tossing strays at me.
But by the way, you got to expect that. You do.
Blood.
You do.
Blood.
Hey, none of us beating Joe, though. Joe downstairs. Joe downstairs. That dude probably averages 195 to 200. He is so good.
I had 4 or 5 years ago, I had a 267, best game of my life. If I can work one of those today, I'm framing it.
Well, you saw me bowl over 200, and then Diesel strived until he was able to beat it. So, I mean, but he ain't been bowling either.
That's probably true.
So there's probably a drop off.
That's probably true. We'll find out. We'll have updates tomorrow, or you'll never hear us talk about it again. We'll find out. When we come back, LSU, South Carolina, College Game Day coming to Columbia this weekend. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about what that means for the culture and all that. Let's talk about what this means for Shane Beamer. Let's talk about what this means for the football team itself. That's next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Bourbon.
All right, guys, one more reading. We're back. Stay right there for me.
So does anybody around here carve walking sticks? I don't want a cane. I want a full on Gandalf walking stick.
Oh, like
Yeah. Yeah, that I could just so I can walk in. No one's going to say anything to me about it.
See, here's the thing. A staff is not great for assistance in walking because you're hanging on to it. You need a you need a pimp cane. Which you
No, I want to look like Moses. I've been looking into, and I don't know if I can make it work, but there's a lot of bamboo around the house about making a bamboo walking stick. And I've been watching some videos. They're pretty skilled, the people who do this sort of thing. But bamboo is really strong. And especially after it's been cut down and hardened for a while. And it's very light. And if you get jumped in the parking lot by some guy who just sets his alarm off for some reason, you've got yourself a quarterstaff.
That's what you're looking for. Lonzo wants a combat staff that he can utilize to help walk.
I'm worried that cane can't handle me. So, but a walking stick can. And I just need a little steadying when I first get up, and I'm all right. Maybe, I wonder if they sell walking sticks at the Renaissance Festival. Which starts next month.
Uh-huh. I've already got the permission to take a Sunday to go up there.
You know, the move to make, if you can do it, because you're not far away from a certain stadium, is to go there for a couple hours, then roll up, especially if it's 4:00 game. They've got some 4:00 games. I don't know.
I think all their games.
No. Me and Diesel were talking about it yesterday, and they do have. He says they have 4:00 games because,
Panthers?
yeah, because where he's doing his show.
Yeah.
So there's a 4:00 game.
There are a couple.
So it would be exhausting a little bit, but I mean, when you get to the stadium, you're sitting down anyway.
They do, but while the fair's there, there's only one that's at home, which is October 13th at home against Atlanta at 4:25. So that could be a thing.
So-
Here's the problem. I know me. I'm gonna go to a Ren fair and I'm gonna knock back a handful of goblets of mead.
Which they do have at every corner, and it's a pretty big place.
There's one thing I saw. I'm not saying I'm excited about doing this, but you're served mead or excuse me, you're served ale from a let's say barmaid. But
You can
hang
say
on-
winch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You hang on to two handles, and she puts it in a chalice, I guess, and leans out over and serves it to you while speaking to you in a particular
Okay.
fashion.
I must have missed that part there.
Uh-huh. I'll find a clip of it.
Okay. Well, I don't necessarily need a clip. I can, not sure that's safe for work.
So appropriately, as we sit here and roll on through the 4-hour sports talk radio extravaganza, that is the Rob Brown Show from 6 to 10 weekday mornings right here on the Fan Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and all around the world for free on the Odyssey app. We've got one of the TVs on here. It is on, it's on ESPN, and they are promoting this weekend's edition of College Game Day. So, you got College Game Day coming to Columbia, South Carolina. Zoe, do you know off the top of your head when the last time Game Day was in Columbia was?
I'm going to guess it's when Spurrier was there, but I could be wrong.
I can't tell you off the top of my head. So if there's anybody out there in the audience that knows when the last time that Game Day was in Columbia, South Carolina, because I tried to find it earlier this morning and I could not do it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Does anybody know when the last time College Game Day was in Columbia? Please let me know because I'm very curious. I don't. But as we talked about yesterday, very briefly, it's an enormous opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for you. It is a huge opportunity for a lot of different reasons. It is a huge opportunity, obviously, because it is going to give you, and I mean this, the best opportunity.
Last time they were there was 2014.
2014. So it's been a decade. It's been a decade since they rolled up into the Cola.
Which, if I recall, was during Spurrier.
I believe that is correct. Been a decade since Reese and the boys rolled up into the Cola. Last time they did it, Corso was still Lee Corso on every segment. So, this is a big opportunity. It's a big opportunity for Columbia. It's a big opportunity for the Gamecock football program. It's a big opportunity for you as South Carolina fans to put yourself on the map. It's a big opportunity for you to show that the culture in the Cola is enormous. By the way, Zoe, I'm being told that I'm not being heard on the stream right now. I don't know if I may have pushed a button before I left yesterday accidentally, but I don't think I did. So we'll work on that.
Everything is fine over here.
Perfect.
So it's got to be you.
It's a me problem. Did we change it? I don't think we changed anything.
It would have been something that you may have changed on your laptop. But you are in utility, as am I.
All right, well, we'll work on it. If you can't hear me now, then none of this matters.
Well, then how did everybody
I don't know.
else? Maybe just one person is having.
I'm probably
trouble.
loud enough to come through your mic.
That's a possibility.
So it's a big deal, and I'm not the only one talking about it. First off, the knowledge about what South Carolina is already out there. Pat McAfee, as we talked about, gave you some props on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week.
The Gamecocks fans took that entire place over. I assume there's going to be quite a scene on Saturday morning in South Carolina.
Oh, no doubt.
I
Great
assume
fan base.
great fan base.
Great. I went to their stadium. They played. My brother played at Akron, and that wasn't obviously a huge game, but great fan base. They show up.
And they're like the Cornhuskers.
Yes.
You know, they've been waiting. Now they got a big time game. They beat LSU. That's huge deal.
And college football is just better when Brian Kelly's all the time.
Sure.
When his face is beat red, when he's yelling at his players, just being an absolute maniac on the sidelines. That's when college football is at its best. So we'll see. I'm not saying I want LSU to lose on Saturday, but I certainly, wouldn't be upset.
It's going to be rowdy down there because, like we talked about earlier, they don't have NFL football in the Carolinas. They just have South Carolina.
No, they got the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's no $1.80 ticket for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
No.
So, a couple of strays being put out there. One at Clemson, one at the Carolina Panthers. Fair towards Carolina. But the point here is,
And more proof that, nationally people don't think of Clemson. They just don't. They should, because they won a couple of championships.
Sure did.
What was it, like 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago? Something like that. I don't know. It was a while ago.
10, 11, 12, 13.
I
Just
don't-
LeBron their
I don't think it
championship.
was that long ago, but it was long enough for someone to go from kindergarten to like high school,
It's fair.
possibly. I don't know.
So the culture is recognized and realized by the big wigs, right? By the folks that are greatly ingrained, but that's not who I want you to strive to reach this week. That's not who this show is for. You guys have the opportunity this weekend to put on a show. But the question mark, as with anyone who's ever going to put on a show of any type, of any medium, the question is, who's the show for? What's the show for? What's the point? What's the show for? And to me, the answer is the next generation of Gamecocks, right? And I'm talking about football players. Because as we have talked about, as we watch the implosion of the Florida State University football program, recruits are incredibly valuable. It's the portal's there, but it's got to be supplemental. I think we're all learning that lesson. The exception was Florida State in 2023. The rule is Florida State in 2024. So this is an opportunity to put onto display to the kids that on Friday night are going to play a high school football game and are going to wake up on Saturday and watch college football to figure out where we want to go. It's your opportunity to show them that the COLA is not just a mid-tier SEC program, that there is something special there. And I will tell you, and again, I don't have any reason to blow smoke up your proverbial skirts, okay? I don't. I have made it a goal of mine not to kiss the bouquet of any schools, organizations, entities, or outlets that we cover. It's to keep it a buck with you. Okay. If you want to hear about how super duper awesome, amazing sauce your school is, it's not that hard to go find a podcast. It's not that hard to go find another station that bends over backwards to kiss you between the cheeks. Okay. I don't want that. This show is designed to give you a place where we talk football. Talk football. Not to tell you how great you are. If you want to hear how amazing you are, go somewhere else. There's plenty of places. So, the culture's already recognized. You're on your way up. I have been to Columbia for 2 games so far. No, sorry, 3 games so far since I moved here. Did not make one last year, but had been to one every year since I moved here outside of that. Been to a day game, been to 2 night games. And what I can tell you, including, by the way, that year that South Carolina upset Florida, been to a couple of night games. I will tell you, as somebody that has been to the Swamp, as somebody who's been to Doak Campbell Stadium, as somebody who's been to Neyland, as somebody who's been to Athens, as somebody who's been to South Bend, Indiana, as somebody's been to Coral Gables, Miami, Opelika, Alabama, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Oxford, Mississippi. I don't know why that's the spot I felt the need to lean in. As somebody who's been to a lot of football stadiums, I can say, again, not trying to blow smoke, just is what it is. There's something special about Columbia, South Carolina. It stands out. I'm not saying it's better than these other places. I'm saying it is wildly unique. There is something unique about it. There is something special about it. Gets a little rowdy, okay? There's something special about it. And so you can take that something special and put it on TV, but I'm going to tell you, to me, there's only 2 outcomes, success or failure, as far as putting on a show this weekend. All right? There's only 2 outcomes, success or failure. The success is the kids that wake up on Saturday morning after playing a little Friday night high school football and are considering where they are going to play their college football next year and the year after that. When they tune in on Sunday or on Saturday morning, the success will be we turn on College Game Day and Columbia looks like it's like there's a 4-hour rolling earthquake going on because of the jam. Failure is we tune in and you just look like another college city. You just look like any other game day. Success is we tune in and there's an ocean of garnet and black behind you that shows that, yeah, you know what? We're 2-0. We recognize the win we got. We recognize the forward momentum, because there is forward momentum for the team right now. The forward momentum we have right now, when we're leaning the hell into it. Look at us. We're 30,000 deep for a TV show, right? Not the game, for a TV show. We're 30,000 deep. Look at us. Failure is we tune in and there's, a couple thousand people behind the crowd, and it just looks like another day. Then it's, all right, it is what it is. Now, here's my question. And somebody asked it in the chat earlier. Does South Carolina have a chance against LSU? The answer to me is absolutely. The answer to me is absolutely. And I'll tell you why. It's exactly because of what I believe it was Connor said in that clip, though I don't know for sure it was him, because I recorded that like 2 days ago and I forgot.
It was the other dude.
Other dude.
Yeah, it's just the guy who
he,
does all the impersonations. I apologize for not remembering his name.
As the other dude said in that clip, college football is at its best when Brian Kelly is on the sideline acting like a maniac, when the veins popping out of his head. And do you see the clip of Brian Kelly assaulting his own kicker, leaving the field this past weekend against Nicholls State? Brian Kelly got his back against the wall right now. All right. The LSU fans aren't happy because they've lost, 3 consecutive season openers in a row. Not that it bumped them out of a playoff spot, but it decreased the landing room, decreased the runway size, right? So there's a bit of panic right now for Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers. They're a little disconcerted. It's going to take South Carolina's best effort. But I'm also going to say, and I heard this clip, and I'll give it to you real quick, and then we got to run to a break. Chris Doering, former Florida Gator quarterback, he hosts a show on Sirius XM Radio where he talks SEC ball. Chris Doering was talking about this game as a preview, and here is what he had to say.
Today, I mean, there's not a player on that South Carolina team that doesn't believe that they're going to win this game. I know they're 7-point underdogs at home, but it's the same attitude that they went into Kentucky with. They were nearly a double-digit underdog and won the game outright. So I don't think they're going to be celebrating any moral victories if they're close, but I don't have any reason to believe that South Carolina can't win this game after what they did to Kentucky on Saturday.
I agree entirely. LSU's good. They ain't as good as they used to be. A perfect game out of South Carolina can beat a good game from LSU.
Well, I just think if you have a defensive performance like you've had the last 2 games, you really got a shot.
You absolutely got a shot. 100% got a shot. Jaden Daniels ain't walking through that door. You absolutely got a shot. I'm also going to say environment's going to matter in this game. It is. This is why I've said the biggest performance, the most important performance for the Gamecocks this weekend is 100% going to be from the fans. Don't show up and leave at halftime. Show up and rock Willie B. I promise you it's important. We'll talk more about that later. Lulu Keston from the Greenville News at 8 o'clock to talk about that and what she expects from this weekend. Lonzo at 6:55 a.m. to read the Sports Flash.
As baseball's postseason inches closer, the Atlanta Braves find themselves fighting with the New York Mets for the final wild card spot after a 5-1 loss to the Washington Nationals yesterday. Atlanta is currently 1 game behind New York, and after an off day today, will start a 4-game set with the league-leading Dodgers. Former South Carolina Gamecock A'ja Wilson has etched her name in WNBA history books again, setting the league's single-season scoring record in an 86-75 win over the Indiana Fever last night. Wilson ended the game with 27 points and is now just 44 points away from becoming the league's first 1,000-point scorer with 4 regular season games remaining, including another against Indiana tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tonight. Yes, I said tonight at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels head to Greer to take on the Yellow Jackets. It's Burns versus Greer right here on your home for Burns Rebels football. And it is tonight on the Fan Upstate. Burns. So if you buy tickets now, the price doesn't change, right? Because you've already bought the ticket to football.
Yeah. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean?
So the New Orleans game right now, you can buy tickets for $12.
To Carolina, New Orleans?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
By the way, Kansas City tickets they're not $12.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm just throwing this out there. The New Orleans game starts at 1:00, but the Rim Fair opens at 9:30.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to leave the Rim Fair at like, even with nobody going to the game.
No.
11.
2 hours in the place is plenty, unless you're going to spend some major time watching shows and sitting down and
I want to sit down and have a meal. I want to drink my way through the ale house.
I think there's no, unless they've changed it, there's no place to sit down and have a meal. You can buy like turkey legs and stuff like that, but you're basically eating while you're walking
I'm
around.
100% watching a jousting show.
100%
watching Falcon.
The Falconer is pretty cool. But I did also look it up, and they do have walking stick maker. They make brooms, wands, and walking sticks, custom. Now it probably costs a lot of money,
No doubt.
but let's face it, I can get away with using a walking stick in this building. Who's going to say anything?
It would be on brand.
As long as it's not, I mean, you just got to make sure that it's not a wood tip because that'll break the floor.
I was just told, I'm outing her, by my own mother, that quote, your head looks disproportionate to your body.
That's what happens when you lose too much weight. I had that problem when I lost, believe it or not, I lost 200 pounds at one point, and my head is just wet. I was JD McDonough for sure, and it was just bothering me, and I had to put some weight back on.
I've never been told I look like a bobblehead before.
The pictures you posted like last week from Courtney's birthday party, I didn't know it was you. And then I see you 5 or 6 days a week, and I was like, wait, that is him. That doesn't look right. Remember how unrecognizable Chris was for a while.
Yeah.
Same with Lee Rogers. He still don't look exactly right to me because he's always was a Husky farmer, like the whole time. And I've known him longer than anybody here in South Carolina.
Your head doesn't look proportionate to your body.
That is like the most loving thing I've ever heard a mom say to her.
That's incredible. Is it weird? I'm kind of proud of that in a weird way.
No, trust me, I get it. People who have only seen me for the first time, they don't understand that I know exactly what you're going through. My wife asked me to stop losing weight because it didn't look right anymore.
For those of you that are not on the stream, which you should be, all right? Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, The Fan Upstate on YouTube, The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. I've dropped now 54 pounds, I think. And I got told by my own dear sweet mother during the break that I got to stop. She's like, you got to stop. You're done. I said, why? She said, your head is no longer proportionate to your body. Apparently I've turned myself into a Rob Brown Show bobblehead. Apparently I'm the JD McDonough of the Fan Upstate at this point. And in a weird, like, I'm proud of that. And now I'm now more self-conscious about my fat head than I was about my fat ass a couple of months ago.
There's really nothing you can do about your head, though.
There's not.
I mean, your head is your head.
It's a 7 5/8, and there's nothing I can do about it. All right. I can't lose weight in the head. All right. It is what it is.
Well, you did lose weight. I mean, but once you get down to skull, I mean, that's it.
Down to skull. There's nothing
Yeah, I mean,
else left.
you're pretty much down to skull. You can't go further than that.
Your head is not proportionate to your body. Oh, man. All right. We got a lot to get to, a lot to talk about here on the radio program as we roll up till 10 o'clock. As we mentioned, Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News will talk South Carolina Gamecock football with us at 8 o'clock this morning. Rashad Beard at 8:40 to talk about the Carolina Panthers getting set for a showdown with Jim Harbaugh and his Chargers coming up this weekend. And we will have Fight Club with the great one Lonzo coming up at 9:20 this lovely morning. So make sure you stick around for all that as we have some fun here on the radio broadcast. But it is 7:03 in the morning. You, my dear friends, are just that much closer to getting yourself to work. Here's the good news. The good news is that you only have a little bit longer All right. You only got a few more hours until the weekend is hoisted upon us. And once the weekend is hoisted upon us, it's a football weekend, a full football weekend. Football tonight, football tomorrow, football all day Saturday, football all day Sunday, football Monday night. We got a 5-night streak of football, which means we got to talk football. We got to get into football. So let's do it. Let's talk some football and everything else, because football ain't the only thing going on. It is, to the chagrin of many of you, baseball season. Still, to this day, right now, baseball. Got about 18 games left. It's NASCAR season. Playoffs underway. We got to talk about that. WNBA. We're going to talk that because there is a WNBA item in the water cooler cheat sheet that also correlates to the South Carolina Gamecocks. All that coming up when we do this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
You must chill!
before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go.
Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
My head is not disproportionate to my body. I look like a normal person. Damn ring light.
I don't know. That's what's his name? Who used to be the quarterback for Atlanta, and he's now Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan?
You got the Matt Ryan neck showing up. You don't see that?
The Matt
look,
Ryan neck?
Your neck looks longer. because your shoulders have gone down because of the weight. You lost some shoulder pads, so I mean they're down there.
Okay. Well, I mean, again,
I'll
take it.
Just get the Matt Ryan salt and pepper hair. Look out!
Oh, it's coming, dude. I'm getting a rogue streak right in the front, like just that one little, like there's only 9 or 10, but they're right in the front. You know, I'm getting there. I'm feeling it. I'm getting very very silver foxy right now. You know. Hey, the water cooler cheat sheet, top 3 sports stories you need to know before you get to the office this morning and talk sports with your coworkers or your boss or whoever it is that you're wasting time with. Rhonda has texted me now in all caps. I said it was probably the camera angle. No, you like the third person who said something.
It's not the camera angle.
It's not.
It's fine.
I just got a big ass head and less body carrying it around. That's all.
Well, it's not. It's long. So I mean, it is. I mean, that's.
I mean, it is, and it is what it is.
You need to grow a longer beard, and then that'll take care of that.
I did that once. I got a white trash beard, dude. It's not. I wish I could. I'll tell you what it was, because I told Courtney this the other day.
You moved to my county.
If I can get down to like 205, which I'm actually thinking about doing. If I can get to 205, great one. I might shave. All right, I may go beardless for a hot minute, because the beard is only there for one reason:
to separate the head from the neck.
No, to cover up the extra chins that I carried around for a very long time.
Do you? Is that what you're doing? Trying to see if they're still there underneath?
Yes.
Like
yes.
Maybe you need some of that epiderm stuff that tightens up the skin.
There's always going to be a little bit, because at the end of the day, just that second chin is genetic. It's just how much you pump in there.
And
all right?
You are almost 40.
And I am almost 40. But
it's a shock value. I think you should do it.
I thought about it. Not for the wedding. After the wedding.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll let you in the building.
But I think when I get back, because, and the reason would be, I am, and I promise you we're going to the water cooler cheat sheet here in a second, but this is it's got to happen. The biggest problem for me is that I am really locked into Halloween costumes. I got to have some costume that is someone bearded, which is why it's always Macho Man Randy Savage or Coach Beard from Ted Lasso was on the docket this year. But if I get myself down to like 205 and get rid of chins number 3 and 4 and just have chins number 1 and 2, I might shave just for Halloween, just because it opens up the door to do whatever I want.
I'm just saying, if you shave and you wear your hockey jersey, you can go as.
I hate you so much.
When Cameron was in Egypt land, let my Cameron go.
So much. Item number 1. The Atlanta Braves found themselves in a spot last night, tied with the New York Metropolitans for the final wild card spot, and then they went and they lost to the Washington Nationals. 5-1 was your final last night. Max Fried was tagged with his 9th loss of the year. 6 innings pitched, gave up 11 hits, 4 earned runs, K'd 6 before he was removed from the game. The Nationals, Jake Irvin went 6th inning, gave up just 2 hits and 1 earned run, K'd 5. The Braves offense, 6 total hits in the game last night. 2 from Harris, 2 from Soler, 1 from Olsen, 1 from Laureano, and that was it. That was the tally. Once again, you went from a night, and this is what the Braves have done. You went from a night 2 nights ago where you had 15 hits and 4 home runs, or 16 hits and 4 home runs, and all of these numbers to turning around and going 6 hits, lucky to get 6, a couple of them late in the game, and you couldn't score runs against the Nationals. This is the reality of sad Braves fan. Me, sad Braves fan. The Atlanta Braves now 79-67, a dozen games over 500, which is good. The problem is the Mets did win last night, meaning that the New York Mets went from a tie to a full game up on the Bravos in the NL East. Nobody cares about that. The Phillies have won this division. All right, they're 8 games up on the Mets. It's about the 3rd wild card spot. It's about, can the Braves get healthy and go on a run into the wild card? Well, it wouldn't matter right now because they're not a wild card team, a full game back behind the Mets. And this is the worst part. The Mets and the Braves both off today. So no change in the record today. Both Atlanta and New York will enter tomorrow, separated by a single game. The Mets are about to start a 3-game set against the Phillies. The Braves are about to start a 4-game set against the Dodgers. The good news is, with the exception of a 3-game series against the Mets later in the month, this is the last uber competitive series. Let me take that back. The Braves have made every series uber competitive for no reason. This is the last series against a top-tier NL squad. Okay? So, that's interesting. The Braves have a 4-gamer against the Dodgers. The Mets start a 3-gamer against the Phillies on the road, but they do have another 4-game set against the Phillies later on this month at home. So the good news for Atlanta, if there is any, and if you give a crap enough to look for a silver lining, is that the rest of the schedule from now till the end of the regular season, it's easier for Atlanta than it is for the Mets. It's an easier path to the regular season finale for Atlanta than it is for the Mets. The bad news is the Braves come out and get 16, 17 hits one night and then turn around and lose to the damn Nationals the next. I don't know if it matters. I don't know if it matters. If the Braves were going to make any run, they need to be heating up now, and they're doing the opposite. Item number 2. WNBA last night, big matchup. Me and the boys actually sat down in a nice little cigar spot last night and watched a little Las Vegas Aces taking on the Indiana Fever. Asia Wilson, former South Carolina Gamecock, staring down Caitlin Clark, the former Iowa Hawkeye. And it was Wilson who got the better of the competition as the Aces win 86-75. But it was Wilson's accomplishment that is the story that makes the water cooler cheat sheet. Late in the first half, an assist from Chelsea Gray. Wilson jabbed left, took the fellow former South Carolina Gamecock Aaliyah Boston off the dribble, pulled up at the free throw line, knocked down a jumper. That was her 940th point. That was the WNBA record for single season points. She knocked it down with 4 regular season games left to play. She had 27 at the end of the night. That brought her to 956 points. She surpassed last year's previous single season record of 931 scored by Jewel Lloyd. Asia Wilson now holds the WNBA single season scoring record, and she is 44 points away from becoming the first WNBA player to score 1,000 points in a single season. Asia Wilson is winning the MVP this year. That race is booked, cooked, and done. She is the MVP. Now the question mark is, how many points is she going to score? Asia Wilson had a hot minute there where she was on a streak of 41-plus point games. She's getting to 1,000. Question mark is, how high above 1,000 is Wilson going to get to? This is going to go down as one of the most remarkable individual seasons in the history of the W. And it's a former Gamecock that's up there. And by the way, how dope is it that in order for a former Gamecock to set the WNBA individual single season scoring record, she had to beat another Gamecock in Aaliyah Boston to get there and do it. pretty spectacular. The influence of Dawn and that program in the WNBA is tangible and palpable, and it came through last night. Congrats to A'ja Wilson, 956 points, highest point total ever for a single season, passing Jewell Loyd, and she's still got 4 games to go. She will get past 1,000. The question mark is how high above 1,000. Let's get to item number 3. I bounced around about where I'm going to go with this one, but I think it's got to be this story. Conference expansion is still happening. I said I thought we were at the point that there was only 2 conferences that might expand in the near future. One of them was the Big 12. One of them was the Pac-12. I think the SEC and the Big 10 are going to stand pat for at least a little while. Now we know the next round of conference expansion. 4 schools are set to announce today that they will depart the Mountain West Conference and join the Pac-12. According to ESPN, the Pac-12 Board of Directors unanimously approved applications from Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State for membership to begin in the 2026-27 academic year. They will join Oregon State and Washington State, the conference's only 2 remaining schools after the league collapsed in the summer of 2023. The Mountain West did say that they intend to hold the departing 4 schools to their signed agreements, which means the schools will each owe them $18 million and a 2-year notification of departure. That's why the 2026 season. Here's the more interesting thing. The Pac-12 is subject to $43 million in poaching fees for taking these schools away from the Mountain West. So the Mountain West they will now probably go look for some much lower level FBS schools as they are dedicated to staying open. Of course they are. Every conference is. They will look to find somebody, and they're going to have quite a bit of money in the coffers from the Pac-12 and these departing schools in order to hold that search. And the Pac-12 gets to live on. Now, is it going to be a stellar conference? No. It's going to look like a lot of other conferences that are kind of afterthoughts if we're keeping it a buck. But hey, maybe having the banner of the Pac-12 to play under, the resources of the Pac-12 that even if the teams are gone, the resources are still in play, the TV contracts that the Pac-12 has for these schools, maybe they do take an upward trajectory. Maybe in a couple of years, we are talking about the new and improved. It won't be new and improved. The new and respectable Pac-12. I don't know. What I do know is you will hear that the Pac-12 is growing later today. Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State all joining the Pac-2/6/12 in 2026-2027. There's your water cooler cheat sheet. Top 3 sports stories going on in the world of sports. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, let's take a look at some of the games going on around college football tonight. We'll start turning our attention towards the future as we got a big football weekend coming up. Lulu Cassidy of the Greenville News will join us in about 45 minutes to talk Carolina football. An hour and 40 minutes from now, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us 9:20. Fight Club with the great one, all coming up on the Rob Brown Show when the Fan Upstate.
Bourbon.
All right, guys, one more read and we're back. My fat head and giraffe neck will return. Yeah.
I think single white female, and that's scary.
Joey, you are very welcome, buddy. Yep, 8 o'clock. Lulu Keston will be joining us here on the show.
By the way, in single white female, she killed a dude with a stiletto through the eye.
She did. Maybe I have seen it. That movie's old, though, isn't it? Old.
Yeah, it's very old. This is like 80s or early 90s.
Oh, no. Maybe the 90s. Let's see.
I think she killed Eric Stoltz. I could be wrong.
1992.
Yeah, so early 90s.
Let's see. Single white female.
It was Jennifer Jason Leigh, I think.
Jennifer Jason Leigh. I don't think I know any. Bridget Fonda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daughter of, I believe.
Talk Carolina Panthers here with you for just a moment. That's not even true. I don't even want to talk about Carolina Panthers with you. I want to talk about Bryce Young with you for just a minute. Because I spent yesterday, I told you the other day on, Tuesday? Tuesday, I went and I watched the All-22 of a handful of different games, one of them being Carolina in New Orleans. And I'll keep it a buck. I went to go watch and see what made Derek Carr stand out so much. Because Derek Carr had himself a hero ball weekend. Derek Carr picked himself up a from the Rob Brown Show TMF INR award.
That is not real.
On Tuesday because of his performance Sunday in the demolition job of the Carolina Panthers performed by the New Orleans Saints. Well, I got into watching a little bit of Bryce Young as well. And I do want to start and make this abundantly clear out of the gate. Bryce Young was bad. Okay? You all heard me say it. Write it down, quote me, put it down. September 12th, 2024, Bryce Young was bad. However, I am preaching the gospel of patience. I am begging you all, take a deep breath and relax. Now, I made the argument a couple of times this week. I'm not going to run you through the whole thing. Nuts and bolts version. First-year head coach, second-year play caller, first-year play caller for this team. Of your offensive line, 2 are brand new, a third move positions. 3 out of your 5 offensive linemen are playing on a different spot, 2 of them on a different team. Your wide receiver core. Your number 1 wide receiver is new to the team. Your number 3 wide receiver was your number 1 wide receiver last year. He's playing in an all-new position. It's not new to him, but it's new to him in this offense. Your number 2 wide receiver was your number 4 wide receiver last year. Your number 4 wide receiver this year was not on the team. It's an all-new wide receiver core. The only thing consistent you have on the offensive side of the football is your running backs. And let's say your running backs were pretty remarkably mediocre last year. And you spent all your resources this offseason building up the offensive side of the football. It was always going to take some time. But it has fallen on Bryce Young to be the hero. Play you a clip here. It's got a little bit of length to it, but it's 3 different voices. Jason Fitz, Jory Epstein, and Frank Schwab. They are NFL analysts for yahoosports.com. I clipped all 3 of their thoughts on Bryce Young together, and here is what they had to say.
Bryce Young continues to look like this.
There is a lot to be said.
You know what? I really did like Bryce Young as a prospect. I thought he did everything well except he was short, basically. That was it. He did everything else pretty well. Obviously had a winning pedigree, all that kind of stuff. And for him to come out in week 1 and look like this was so disheartening because I don't think he has the excuses anymore. Last year he did. Like, they gave him Adam Thielen as his number 1 receiver, and they had no offensive line in front of him, and they changed coaches in the middle of the season. All the stuff that could go wrong for a rookie quarterback, Bryce Young had that put in his lap. Year 2, they paid the guards. They drafted a lot of skill position guys. New coach who obviously had a big say in resurrecting Baker Mayfield, and it looked kindly the same as last year. And if you really want to be cynical, it looked even worse than last year. So, yeah, what's the path out for Bryce Young now? I don't think you could give him the excuses anymore that the situation was bad. I just think he needs to play better. And I don't know that there's a lot of hope for that or the Panthers. Now you look at the trade they made to go get him, picking him over CJ Stroud. And you're just like, this could turn out to be historically bad if Bryce Young continues to look like this.
All right. So that's Jason Fitz from yahoosports.com and his take on BY. And I want to address a couple of things. And then I have a present for Lonzo. And I need you all on the stream for this. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate. The Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get there before I bring my present to the stream for you all. Okay. If you suddenly think that like the situation is all butterflies and rainbows, you are wrong. The situation is not good in Carolina. It didn't get fixed. Did it get better? Yes. It got better. The situation got better. Is it fixed? Hell no. No, absolutely not. I just ran you through the problems just on the offense, which is an offense you put all the resources into fixing. All right? It ain't fixed. There's still a lot that's got to be course corrected offensively and defensively. This whole thing that like, oh, all the excuses are gone. He's got to be a pro. No, they're not gone. They're not gone, and they're not gone for a guy whose growth was stunted last year because of Frank Reich, because of David Tepper, because of this team as a whole. Yeah, and I know what I did there, and I didn't think about it until literally right now, and I'm very mad that I did, but I'm standing on it.
I'm not saying anything.
The point here that I think we have to lean on is the situation's not better. Let's scratch that. The situation is better. Situation ain't fixed, and anybody who says that it is just wrong and doesn't know ball. So the problem I have with the take from Jason Fitz here is not that he said Bryce Young played poorly. He did. All right? He missed guys. The 2 picks he threw, egregious. 1 to JT Sanders, 1 to Adam Thielen that he just freaking missed. He also had a lot of throws, and this is the part that frustrates me. Again, go back and watch that game again. There's also some throws that he made. Some good throws that he made. Some challenging throws that he made. There were some good throws in this game from BY9, but we're all going to disregard the good to dial in on the bad. And I know that's hysterical coming from me. I get it. Because I'm the guy that says you talk about the bad because the bad can be fixed. And I think we have done that. But to talk about the bad and ignore completely the good is where you make a mistake, in my opinion. We are not talking about the good. There were a handful of challenging throws that Bryce Young made, but we're dialing in on the 2 picks. Okay? Now, I am going to present something to you here on the stream, facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, The Rob Brown Show on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, it's graph time, baby! Bringing back the graph. I've missed graphs. Let's do a little graph. In fact, I want to dial in on the graph. This, and let's be clear, this is a very small sample size. This is 1 week of NFL football. This is one game. This is a graph of all 32 teams in the National Football League. All 32 starting quarterbacks from week 1 in the NFL. Okay? And on this graph, your x-axis is the average separation of wide receivers when targeted. When a ball was thrown at them, what was their average separation? And on the y-axis, the accuracy rate of quarterbacks. And so obviously, you'd like the further to the right the graph goes, which is the more open wide receivers are, the higher you'd like to see that quarterback's name on the y-axis in terms of accuracy, right? Now, we talked about Derek Carr. Derek Carr, of course, the winner of week 1
It's not real.
award. Derek Carr's way up here in the top right corner. Derek Carr, and keep in mind, I do want to point out, this has to do with defensive backs too. And the Saints do have one of the best defensive back crews in football. That is something I do not think people have talked enough about. The New Orleans Saints have one of the best defensive backfields in the entire National Football League. So just by that, you are going to see anybody who plays them. And again, small sample size, it's just 1 week. But I would be willing to bet that after this weekend, after week 2, the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott kind of right down here, just a little bit off the average, right? Got less wide receiver separation to throw to, but also was less accurate than the average NFL quarterbacks this weekend. I'll be willing to make you a bet. We pull the same graph next week. Dak's star is a little bit further over in this area because of the defensive backs. So Carolina, who is down here at the furthest left and not bottomest, But as far as accuracy goes, there were 4 quarterbacks less accurate than Bryce Young in week 1. Jalen Hurts, Deshaun Watson, Jordan Love, Danny Dimes, the least accurate quarterback, and Anthony Richardson, who was the least accurate quarterback in NFL week 1, according to Pro Football Focus, who put this data together. So you get a little bit of credit for Carolina, and you are up against one of the top, I'd say 6-5 defensive backfields in football. But look at the separation that Bryce Young's receivers were getting. There were only 3 teams whose receivers provided less separation than Bryce Young's. Josh Allen's Bills, Matt Stafford's Rams, Kyler Murray's Cardinals. All right. Kyler Murray still with a accuracy rating of about 42-43%. Josh Allen, about 42-43%. Matt Stafford, accuracy rating about 42-43%. Brock Purdy, accuracy rating of about 41-42%. Bryce Young, accuracy rating of about 29%. So the accuracy is behind Brock Purdy, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, and Kyler Murray. What's the difference? Well, Brock Purdy's gone to a Super Bowl and has the best skill position set out there. Josh Allen's got no wide receivers, but he's Josh Allen. Matt Stafford has been a Pro Bowler for a very long time. And Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray. He's been in the league, 92 years and hasn't done anything with it yet? Bryce Young's down here, and it's a bad look. But he's also working with less receiver separation than all but 3 teams in the NFL. The Bills, Rams, and Cardinals. And by the way, the Rams lost Puka Nacua early in that game, so that hurt them a lot. And he's less accurate than everybody except Hurts, Watson, Love, Jones, and Richardson. My point here is Bryce Young does not play for a team that's fixed. You still have to get better at the wide receiver position. You still have to give him more to work with as a second-year rookie. This chart, once again, small sample size, just 1 game, but it should tell you that this is a growth project. If you expected him to just go, what's to the wall in week 1, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Come back here in just a minute. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate.
You're live.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're back. Stay right there for me. BRB.
Dropping knowledge. Riding with our truth.
It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan of State. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you. Robin the Great Malonzo here. There was a controversy that went down earlier this week. Did we talk about it Monday? Yeah, I think we talked about it Monday. Controversy went down in Tallahassee, Florida. After the Noles fell to 0-2, coming off of a 13-0 ACC championship last year, things have not been good down in Tallahassee, Florida. They went over to Dublin, Ireland, and lost to Georgia Tech. They came back home the next week, took on the Boston College Eagles, and dropped a game to them as well. And I think it is fair to say that this team is bad. Okay, the team is just bad. So there was another controversy that popped up around the team besides the team just being bad. And that controversy was apparently the football team asked the athletic department to stop playing their tomahawk chop on third downs. Why? So that an in-house DJ could play music, hip-hop music, EDM music, techno music, whatever they're going to play. And watching that game last week, I can tell you it was annoying. But also I acknowledge that I'm, almost 40 years old and kind of a crotchety old guy at this point, right? I'm also a fan, and many of you don't believe me when I say this. I got told this yesterday when I was sitting in on Wire to Wire, that when I say I actually do love the traditions and the pageantry of college football. I really do. I am pro NIL. I am pro portal, but I actually do love the traditions and the pageantry of college football. I don't think those are mutually exclusive things to want what I feel is the best for the players, but also say, I love the chop and the running down the hill and sandstorm and all these things that make college football special. I'm just saying if a kid doesn't want to be there, he shouldn't have to be there, right? So I hated that. Apparently the athletic department kowtowed to the football team and decided that they were going to tell the band no more tomahawk chop on third down, which I know many of you Clemson fans have been down to Tallahassee for big games. Even if it is the bad guys, that on third down, when that chop gets played, when those drums start beating, and when 60,000+ Florida State fans start in unison doing the chant, it's good, man. It's good. It's fun. It's exciting. It's loud. It's energetic. It's a great moment. Well, Mike Norvell finds himself in a bit of a position here because on one hand, he's allowing these changes to be made. On the other hand, the team ain't that good. And as Willie Taggart can tell you, it's one thing to go in and thrive, succeed, and then make some changes. It's another thing to try to make changes and suck, right? The problem you bumped into is not that you change the chop. It's that you change the chop and, oh, by the way, you change the chop and you're 0-2. A year after you reset expectations for this program, you're 0-2. Yesterday, Mike Norvell was asked about that situation. And Mike Norvell said, I want to hear them every second of every moment of the game. I mean, I think they're remarkable. It's what makes FSU special. Norvell went on to say he wants to continue to work with the Marching Chiefs. Quote, I think we've honored the tradition. I think we've offered the people that make this university special. We're going to continue to do that. I was told that it was like that at every game last year too, and I never heard about it last year because we didn't lose any games at home last year. We definitely are going to get that right. I absolutely want to make sure that the Marching Chiefs are a strong presence in everything we're doing throughout the course of the game. So play on, all right? I mean, yeah, except for that's not what happened, right? That's not what you did. That's not what happened. Now, why am I bringing this up? Why am I in what is the most important segment of the radio show, the 15 minutes before you all get to the office and clock in? Why am I bringing up a Florida State story? Because it's not a Florida State story. It's a college football story. The point that I am making here is you disillusioned, if you're Florida State, a lot of your fan base. You took the shine off the apple for your lot of fan base because while y'all, if you're not a Florida State fan, look at this and go, who the hell cares? You would care if it was your thing, right? You would care if it was your thing. Could you imagine the reaction if a news story dropped today that said the Clemson football team was 0-2, hypothetically, theoretically, but if Clemson was 0-2 like Florida State is, and a press clipping came out that said that the football team asked the athletic department not to make them leave the locker room, get on buses to drive to the other side of the stadium to then get off the buses and run down the hill. If they said, we just want to come out of the locker room, right? Because the Clemson locker room, which I was in it a couple of weeks ago, the Clemson locker room has a door that opens right onto the field. They can just walk out of there on the field.
So maybe they decide for safety concerns because it's treacherous running down that hill that it would be safer to just come out of the locker room.
Sure. For the sake of comparison, let's just say that they didn't want to do it. Pick your reason. Let's say that the football team said, for us to get dressed, strap on the cleats, walk out the door, go out through the front door of the locker room, through the exit to the stadium, get on tour buses, which means that we got big-ass full-grown men sitting side to side on tour buses wearing full football gear to drive around the stadium to then get right back off the bus, to walk through people to get to the top of that hill, then run down when we could just open that door and be there. We don't want to do it anymore. I suspect there'd be a reaction to that, right? I suspect there would be a reaction. What if the Gamecock football team came out one day and said, you know what? We want to get rid of Space Odyssey. We want Machine Gun Kelly to play us onto the field. What if they said, we don't want y'all bumping to Sandstorm anymore, right? We want Lil Wayne to play, not Sandstorm. You'd be a little bit upset, without a doubt. Here's the point that I'm making. College football programs are going to find themselves increasingly in a very interesting position. This also goes hand in hand, toe to toe with what we talked about with what's happened at Colorado this week, right? Colorado put out this thing that said Deion Sanders did not ask our band to not play the fight song after Shedeur touchdowns. What he asked was that we don't play for a minute after Shedeur touchdowns so we can play his song. And I told you as a college football program, over the next few years, and I think this is going to be something you see more and more frequently, are going to find yourself in a very interesting position. The very interesting position you're going to find yourself in is that you're going to be asked by players to make more concessions on their behalf, right? You're going to have players that are going to say, hey, when I score a touchdown, can you play my rap song so that I can sell some albums as a part of my NIL deal? You are going to be asked by players to do more things. Hey, after touchdowns, I want to do this. Can I hold up a sign of my primary NIL sponsor instead of coming to the sideline to get a Gatorade? Can you hand me a Dr. Pepper bottle so I can show them that I'm the mayor of Fansville? This is going to become more and more common. And what Florida State is learning right now, what Mike Norvell is learning right now, is that if you let the football players call the shots and the football players start calling shots in a way that runs contrary to what the fans want, you better be bringing them hardware. You better be bringing them wins. Because if you are not bringing them wins and you say, hey, we don't care about how you feel about this tradition. We don't care about how you feel about this song or this dance or this activity or this pregame ceremony or this, that, and the other. We want to do our own thing. You better be winning the people trophies. Because if you don't, you're going to have a fan base turn against you. Mike Norvell's a guy that went this offseason from signing a big extension with Florida State. And I do believe he signed that extension because when Nick Saban retired, Alabama was coming for Mike Norvell after what he did for Florida State last year. And Florida State said, we got to make him an offer that Alabama won't want to match. The problem is you locked him in for 4 years at a big, big number. Florida State can't do anything about it. So if they end up this season, because do you think for a second Florida State's done losing? I don't.
Probably not.
I don't.
It looks pretty bad.
Florida State's a 1.5 point favorite over Memphis this weekend, and that's in Tallahassee. That ain't on the road. 1.5 point favorite. That means Memphis is a 1.5 better, according to the folks that are betting. Now, you don't think Clemson right now, after what they did, hanging 60 plus on Appy State, what do you think Clemson's going to do to Florida State down in Tallahassee? They're going to smoke them. It ain't going to be close, right? And on top of that, there's other teams on the FSU schedule, Louisville, et cetera, that are looking at this team and going, they're down. This is our chance to get a little bit of revenge, right? Cal just beat Auburn. You don't think Cal wants to make their introduction known when Florida State comes out to the left coast to play? You don't think number 10 Miami doesn't want revenge for what Florida State's been doing to them the last couple of years? You don't think Notre Dame hosting? Notre Dame's got to win some impressive games to get back into a playoff spot after they lost.
Come on, they're done.
I don't think they're done. They have one loss.
It's okay.
They can sneak in at number 11, number 12. They can't lose again. They will have to be undefeated the rest of the ride. Getting Florida State, even if it's bad Florida State, and hanging 50 on them is a style point win for Notre Dame. They need all they can get. Hell, I'm not sure Florida State can beat Florida right now. I think Florida might be a better team than Florida State. Point is, FSU might have 4, 5, 6 more losses coming down the pipe minimum. Maybe more. So when I'm watching Norvell, who allowed his football team to effectively poo-poo one of the most recognizable Florida State traditions while going 0-2, the fan base is rebelling right now. The fan base is having conversations down in Tallahassee about whether they should fire Mike Norvell, who went 13-0 last year and won them their first AC title game in a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, but what if he doesn't win a game?
I mean, is there a world Florida State goes? I don't think Florida State's going 0-12. I think it's, what if they go 5-7? What if they go 4-8? Memphis is a 1.5 point dog in Tallahassee. Cal just beat Auburn. They can beat them. SMU, I think we all bought the farm on SMU. They're just not good. Clemson can beat them. I think they can beat Duke. Miami can beat them. North Carolina can beat them. Notre Dame can beat them. Charleston Southern, probably a win. Florida can beat them. What if Florida State ends this season, Lonzo, 3-9? Worst season in Florida State history.
He's probably gone.
You got to think, but they're locked in for so much damn money. I don't know that they can make him gone, right? And then you do all this and take away one of FSU's most proud traditions? Not great, Bob.
Well, at least I bet all the assistant coaches at least would be gone.
Oh, for sure. There would be a massive overhaul. Ain't no doubt about that. Lulu Caston of the Greenville News joins us in the next segment to talk South Carolina taking on the LSU Tigers this weekend over in the Cola. Before we get there, Lonzo about to wow you, dazzle you, enlighten you, educate you, inform you, and make your morning better with this Sports Flash.
You're welcome. Regardless of how the regular season ends, the Braves will play most of the remainder without All-Star Ronaldo Lopez. Lopez was moved from his last start against Cincinnati with shoulder tightness after coaches noticed his fastball had lost roughly 5 miles per hour of velocity. That's bad. The team placed him on the 15-day DL as a precaution, citing shoulder inflammation. Atlanta recalled righty Daysball Hernandez to fill the spot in the rotation. The NFL's audience numbers from week 1 were up from last year, with games averaging 21 million viewers per contest, making it the most watched week 1 on record. The league and Nielsen said that the per game average across all platforms was up a total of 12% from last season. Hey, tune in Saturday at 12:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Stetson Hatters. It's Furman versus Stetson right here on your home for Paladins football, The Fan, upstate. Okay, I'm a little concerned because I called and then I heard nothing. I think she picked it up.
Yes, it did that to me the other day. The other day.
Did-
It never rang. They just started talking.
Hello. Hey, this is Lonzo with the Rob Brown Show. Did you answer before? Okay. Yeah. No, the phone was acting weird. It sounds fine now. Rob was just telling me he had trouble the other day too. But we should be good. Hang on. Maybe pull John there. Just like trying to talk and nothing happened.
Did you see the Shannon Sharp R-Truth thing yesterday? Oh, no, we didn't talk about it. Leave it.
So you're just talking about our truth. You're not talking about something else, though.
Correct.
All right. It's always a gamble, especially with such a big story. You think I ruined the game card thing?
No.
I think I did. I think that's the reason why we don't get them. We'll see. We still might.
I don't think the person in control of that situation cares as much as you think they do.
You didn't see the look on his face. He was not. It was
True, but I also understand that he is like us in enjoyment and screwing with people.
Yeah, true. Very true. And he could have got me. You're right. I didn't even think about that. Well, I'm just letting you know that I plan on doing it again if we have them, which I don't think we will.
I'm not on a time limit today. The fact that we're doing it in the afternoon, I'm not on a time limit. I can hang out and do whatever today. Within reason. I'm not staying there till kickoff.
No.
But I'll hang out for a few hours.
Well, I'm supposed to meet Lisa for supper probably. But it takes her a little while to get out of work. Plus, people will be done at a certain time. They probably won't stay for 2 hours, but I bet we don't get it. We should just I'll just find out. I was going to say I can just email Roy and find out.
And away we go with hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Just hours away from the kickoff of the football weekend. Yes, we do have NFL football on the television this evening. An AFC showdown in the AFC East between Josh Allen, yeah, and his Buffalo Bills taking on Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and the Miami Dolphins. Then we got football tomorrow. Then we got football Saturday, which, of course, football Saturday opens up with college football game day. We all get up very, very early, and we turn on Reese and Dez and Pat and the boys. And this week, a very special edition of college football game day that will be emanating. Really overexcited. From the state capital of the Palmetto State, Columbia, South Carolina, the Cola is where game day will broadcast from ahead of a noon kickoff between the Gamecocks of South Carolina and the Fighting Tigers of LSU. And to discuss that football game, joining us now on the show, she is a reporter for the Greenville News who covers the Gamecocks of South Carolina over in the Cola. Her second time on the show. I expect she'll be, hey, they always say the most improvement you'll see a team make is from week 1 to week 2. It is week 2 of Lulu Kesson joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Good morning, Lulu. How the heck are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Spectacular. Lulu, we have football on tonight. We have football on tomorrow. We have football on Saturday. We have football on Sunday. We have football on Monday. Anybody who's not doing great right now needs a therapist. Well, I mean, I probably still do, but I'm still happy.
That's fair. Yeah, it's quite a game tonight. I'm a Bills fan, sort of. So go Bills. I don't know
Lonzo,
if I can say that.
Lonzo hates
Yeah.
Josh Allen. He thinks Josh Allen stinks.
Oof. Well, everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
She said, "Oof."
I'm not gonna. I just think he gets way too much media attention for the talent. But he played well this week with no receivers, so maybe he could prove me wrong.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he does.
I think we get some hero ball tonight, Lulu. I'm taking the Bills to cover the spread. I don't know if I'm taking them to outright win, but Miami didn't look great in week 1. And any game that you put Josh Allen's back against the wall, he ends up popping off for a couple of touchdowns. I think you're in a game tonight.
I think you're right. I agree with your assessment there for sure.
All right, let's turn our attention to the college football weekend. As we mentioned, College Game Day over in Columbia. I want to get to the game itself here in a minute, Lulu, but I've said a couple of times this week, I think this is a massive opportunity, right? We've looked at Florida State, team built through the transfer portal, and it has gone real south real quick. Getting kids to come sign for you out of high school, building your core around kids who want to be there is big. To me, College Game Day feels like a real opportunity for Columbia. It's been a decade since the last time that college football's biggest platform and show has been in the Cola. I have said all week, I think it is massively important for Columbia to put on a hell of a show for game day so that recruits see that there is something special going on in Columbia, South Carolina. What is the feeling around the Cola right now about having Pat and Reese and the gang doing their show from right outside of Willie B?
Totally. And I will confess, oddly enough, I missed media on Tuesday because I was in Washington, D.C. at the White House with the women's basketball team.
We'll let that fly as an excuse, Lulu.
Yeah, I have a valid excuse there, I think. But upon returning to Columbia, you could genuinely just tell like the atmosphere was a little different. Like, not to be totally cheesy, but just the energy, the smiles on people's faces, like you could sort of already tell that it's going to be a big weekend. I think the LSU game and the noon kick already was sort of this early season kind of huge game, a Saturday for especially a lot of these college freshmen at South Carolina. And now that you add game day to it, I mean, Beamer yesterday talked about, or Tuesday, was talking about how when he was at Virginia Tech, his senior year, College Game Day featured Virginia Tech when they were in their undefeated season. And it's just an experience. Like, all these players on South Carolina, I imagine, grew up watching the show, and now they're being featured, and all these college football fans. So like you said, it hasn't happened since 2014, 10 years ago. And I think it's a good time for Columbia to be showcased and for some high-end energy to be brought into the city for sure.
All right, let's talk about this. How do you transition that into the game? Because it's an LSU team that's good. It's an LSU team that's considered a playoff threat. It's also an LSU team that lost their opener to a USC team that I don't think we know how good they are yet. We're going to find out. It's also an LSU team that allowed Nicholls State to hang around for about 2.5 quarters before they finally broke away. So what's the mindset with the team from Baton Rouge coming to Cola? I saw earlier that Chris Doring from Sirius said he believes there's not a guy in the locker room that has anything but victory on the brain this weekend. What is the vibe around the team getting ready for LSU?
I think that looking at this LSU game, it really comes down to mentality way more than anything else. And I know people might disagree with that, but exactly to your question, this is all about, can South Carolina handle success? Can South Carolina step up? Obviously, we saw somewhat of a disappointing performance against Old Dominion, some would say. I mean, it didn't seem like anyone on South Carolina walked in week 1 thinking it was going to be a cakewalk. I think they took Old Dominion seriously. But then they become kind of the underdog against Kentucky. They're sort of, as Shane Beamer said, like disrespected throughout the week. He talked a lot about how it was like perception, not reality, which, you know, it is what it is in that regard. But more so now, it's like, okay, they're coming off this huge, quote unquote, underdog win where they really took care of Kentucky on all levels. Now they're in the national spotlight. Can they rise to the occasion? Beamer sort of said it's a huge test. Can they handle success the right way? Can they handle distractions the right way? Can they handle the fact that they're not just talking to me and other local media. They're now being interviewed by ESPN days before the game. So it's a young team. Beamer says it's a mature team. So I think we'll really have to see how well some of those veteran leaders guide maybe the younger guys through the emotional and mental process of all of this. Because I do truly think Saturday comes down to the fact of, will LSU's historic dominance prevail, which, might not necessarily show on paper through 2 games this season, or will South Carolina continue on this upward trend and rise to the occasion?
It's really interesting because the word that I've used about this game a number of times is consistency, right? Like I need consistency. I wanted consistency in week 1 from Old Dominion, from what South Carolina had and the good vibes coming out of the offseason camp. I wanted consistency. I actually wanted better against Kentucky. We got it. And now the question is, can you take what you did and do it against a team that I do think is better than Kentucky? I do think it's probably a little bit more well-coached than Kentucky, has more talent on paper. If I asked you for the 2 or 3 things you think are most important to be consistent from the Kentucky game to this LSU game, what would you put on the list?
I would probably say starting on the consistent trend. I think Norris needs to continue to see the field as I won't say as well as he did against Kentucky, but I felt like it was a night and day difference. You kind of saw him escape the pocket, and still, like, that play that he found Mazeo Bennett on 3rd down, I think really represented, like, okay, he's learning, he's growing. So I think that sort of his ability to both be a just eyes up passing quarterback, but also still be able to kind of run if necessary and escape if the O-line maybe is a little bit leaky. And I honestly think that Shane naming Mazeo Bennett and Jared Brown, like, quote unquote, the top 2 receivers, I think that consistency needs to continue. I think receivers need to expect that Sellers or Dowell Loggins will aim to throw the ball a lot. And I think that if they don't expect a lot of passes, then it's going to be a nightmare. If they're sort of like, oh, this is going to be a run game, obviously they'll know the scheme going in. But I more so mean I think they need to play as confident, as comfortable as they did against Kentucky. And I also think self-inflicted errors are still sort of an issue, less penalties, but sort of just the little fixable moments that Beamer mentions a lot in practice, just negative yardage and kind of 1 step forward, 3 steps back type thing. They make a good play on 3rd down and then they kind of can't convert. So those type of things, I think I probably named a lot of things in that sense, but 3 things looking at that, I would say those are the 3 that really will impact how the LSU game goes.
Lulu Kesson here on the Rob Brown Show, and the Fan Upstate covers the South Carolina Gamecock Athletic Department for the Greenville News. Talk to me, if you don't mind, a little bit about Mazeo Bennett. That's a kid that's from around our parts down here in Greenville. Got a chance to watch him as a high school player a little bit. He was dealing with some injuries last year, so didn't get to see him all season long. But the times I did, I mean, he very clearly stood out as a special talent. Looks to me like it was always going to take him a little time to find his footing, find his role in this offense. Has he, as a player in the last couple of weeks, has he been put on notice? Has he put everybody else on notice that he's ready to become a big part of this offense?
100%. And it was kind of funny because after the first scrimmage, I want to say it was the first scrimmage, Beamer in his press conference, because the scrimmages aren't open to media. So he talks to us, but we have no idea what he just saw. And he was like, Mazeo Bennett is going to play a lot this year. And all of us were kind of like, okay, like true freshmen, we'll take your word for it, but really hadn't seen Mazeo in practice a lot. And then he scores his first touchdown against Kentucky. It was, I believe, Sellers' first passing touchdown of the season. That probably felt good to kind of get him to relax. But Beamer talked about how great his parents are, the family he comes from. He praises Mazeo kind of any chance he gets. So I think he will continue to play a lot and impact this offense as long as he continues to sort of step up to the plate, because it kind of same vein, like, will he continue to rise to the occasion after, and any true freshman's technically an underdog. So you kind of have your back against the wall. And then once you prove yourself, it's sort of how do you continue to prove yourself when you're given that opportunity?
Lenora Sellers obviously had a more consistent game last week, but it felt to me, and I know you kind of hit on this a minute ago, Lulu, but I wanted to revisit it. It felt to me last week like he was getting a bit more comfortable with being a passing quarterback. It felt like he was getting more comfortable staying in the pocket and not, if read one is shut down, immediately wanting to pull the ball and go to the legs. Have you seen that? Did you see that against Kentucky? I know he had to check out of the game for a little while with an injury before he made his way back, but talk to me about, in your opinion, the growth and development of Lenora Sellers.
Yeah, so I actually focused a lot this week because what really impressed me was that, I can only speak from a basketball perspective, but when you're like having a bad game, the ball won't go in the hoop, and then you just make a foul shot, and you're like, okay, I saw it go in. I felt like in a way when Mazio caught that first touchdown, Lenora's could kind of be like, like I took a breath. It wasn't just a rushing touchdown. Like I can score both passing and running the ball. And then he gets injured, which I think I would argue like was one of the most mature moments he's shown so far this season. And I know it's been only 2 games so far, but he finally gets in rhythm. He's finally connecting with his receivers, and then he gets hurt. He's taken out for nearly 10 minutes. He has to watch the backup go in, which I know Robbie Ashford and Lenoris have a really great relationship, and the way that they speak of each other and Beamer speaks of the relationship is just nothing but praise and good vibes. However, in game 2 on the road, you don't want to see the backup go in. You don't want to go to the locker room. So I think the fact that Lenoris didn't get totally rattled by that situation was what really showed me as a reporter, like, okay, he's making those jumps. He's making a correction. He's impressing other people. He's not just running the ball. He's not just taking the sack. He's looking to extend the play even when he has hands in his face. And I think if he continues to sort of showcase that rapid growth, that's the Lenora Sellers that I think people are really going to start to see. I didn't think the talk week 1 was that he was going to come out and put up a 6 touchdown game or whatever it was. Like, yeah, he showcased his arm against Furman in 2023. But I think the Lenoris that I learned based on talking to his family and his coaches was that he's going to learn really quickly, and he's going to try not to make the same mistake twice. And having a quarterback with that mentality, I think, is really valuable.
Lulu Keston from the Greenville News here on the Rob Brown Show. Last one, Lulu, we'll let you get back to it as we get set up for LSU at South Carolina this Saturday. Let's make this one open-ended for you. South Carolina upsets LSU if blank.
If Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard win the battle against 2 of the best offensive tackles in Will Campbell and Emory Jones, for sure.
I think that's a great answer. Those 2 guys have been freakish this year. I was watching last week. Kentucky was trying to triple team Dylan off the edge, and he was still getting to the quarterback. That kid is a freak.
Absolutely insane. Like, I've watched that specific play that you're talking about so many times. Just like genuinely fights through triple team with ease. But still, Kyle Kennard has 3.5 sacks this season. Like, he leads. It's just the elite duo they have. And I think it works so well, too, with Stewart being a true freshman and Kennard being a veteran transfer. And, like, I've asked a little bit about their relationship and everything. Like, they just want to be better. They want to, like, root for each other. They want to win together. They want to succeed together. I heard Kennard walk into the opposing team stadium to Kroger Field last week and say how much he loved playing in someone else's stadium. Like, those 2 clearly love stepping up to the occasion. They've proven that. And I think they genuinely will be one of the most important factors to Saturday's win or loss.
Lulu Kesson covers the South Carolina Gamecock athletic department for the Greenville News. You can find her on X at Lulu Kesson, LULUKESIN. She will be covering this game throughout the weekend, and will rejoin us a week from today. Actually, we'll not, because I'll be down in Florida getting married. But we'll check back in the week after that with Lulu with the results of this game and the next. Lulu, you are the best. Thank you very much. We will talk to you very soon.
Oh my goodness, congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here. And yeah, Saturday will be super fun.
Looking forward to it. I'll be following alongside on Twitter at Lulu Kessin from the Greenville News. We appreciate her time as always. Let's run to a break. When we come back here in a minute, got a few things I want to run through, including your audio blitz. Rashad Beer joins us at 8:40. That's all coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Quick reading. We're back, guys. Stay right there for me. All right, we're going to run through a couple of sound bites here. We got Rashad Beard coming up here in about 13 minutes. So we'll do about a half of the audio blitz here. We'll do another half of it at the 9 o'clock hour. Let's start with this. Yesterday, we played you a couple of clips from Jordan Mason. Of course, Jordan Mason is the running back for the San Francisco 49ers that played in place of Christian McCaffrey during the Monday Night Football Conference. Right after the game was over, Jordan Mason was asked, when did he find out he was going to start? And he said this.
When did you find out that you were going to be starting?
When did I find out? Maybe Friday night, something like that.
Friday night. Then he was asked in the postgame presser to clarify that because San Francisco didn't announce that he was going to start until about less than an hour before the game. And it led to a somewhat awkward moment.
When did you find out that you'd be in the starting lineup?
That question right there is why I'm at. That's why I don't like really talking to media, because you say one thing wrong and then, I don't know. Just skip that question.
And that's fair. That's fair. Although I would say to Jordan Mason, nobody was upset with you, bud. Nobody's upset at you. Nobody's mad at you. You didn't say anything wrong. Well, Kyle Shanahan was asked about it yesterday. And I made the point. I said, look, here, you want to know what I bet happened? What I bet happened was Jordan Mason got told on Friday, hey, be prepared. You may have to start Monday. You may get to start. Be prepared. Be ready as if you're going to start. And he just read it the wrong way. Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the 49ers, said, that's basically it.
Said after the game he was told on Friday night he was going to start. When did Christian start feeling awry?
I never told Jordan he was going to start. Told me he had to be ready a bunch, but that might have been Bobby or somebody trying to pump him up. But I knew he was going to have to play a lot. I told him that he was going to have to, it wasn't going to be like usual. He was going to be a number 2 back that was splitting a lot of the time. But now he didn't know he for sure was doing that till today.
Did Christian have some sort of setback?
All right. So, meant to clip that last part out, but you get it. It's basically, like I said, that's what I expected to happen, and that's what happened. They were trying to gas him up, saying they might need him. He might have to get the start, and that is what happened. Hey, there's a college football game coming up at 7:30 on Saturday. The Colorado State Rams hosting the Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado State a 7-point dog against Buffalo. Now, as I've said before, that is mainly because a lot of the betting public are idiots. For some reason, they're still backing Colorado. The Rams are my upset pick of the week. Why? Well, because I think they're just, after a year, going to know the team better. But also because they got guys on this team like Braden Fowler Nicolosi and Torrey Horton, a pair of players who were on this team last year when they played Colorado in a phenomenal game, who say they got a little something.
We owe them one. And that's just something that's been sitting on everybody, mind since we came back from break. We owe them. And we walked away from that game, as, we kind of left it all on the field. I don't feel like we left it all on the field because we should have murdered them guys. And, they came out with that attitude as they were on top of the world. And this ain't no Cinderella story, so we coming for revenge.
Yeah, they came out with that attitude and thought it was going to be a cakewalk. They saw the reports, 27.5 points or whatever it was. And they got a rude awakening real quick. And I think it goes to show that the hype, the media train, all that, it only gets you so far. At the end of the day, you have to line up 11 guys against our 11 guys, and we'll find out who wants it more. And we'll see how far Instagram followers gets them.
We all came here to play football. So at the end of the day, the millions of followers and fans that they then produced and got, and celebrities that then jumped on their side because of who Deion Sanders is. At the end of the day, Deion Sanders ain't playing. It's those players playing. So those players better back up on what they speak about.
You better back the hell up, Shador.
Okay, was that Matt Riddle?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I get the vibe, though.
I mean,
bro. I love this. I don't give a rip about your millions of Instagram followers. This is football. It's you 11 versus us 11, LFG. I love that clip. I love that. And I'm gonna tell you, I've told you, I've kind of circled all the way back around. I'm off Team Dion. I'm still gonna wear my blenders because let's be real, I look real good in them. I'm still gonna rock the glasses.
Yeah, my wife went online and was looking at those. Like, nah, I can't do that. And
I'm gonna warn you, they're narrow.
And that's why I said those don't work for me.
They're narrow.
Yeah.
They definitely bend out a little on the side of my apparently
I don't
gigantic head.
I don't understand. Why would you warn me of that? Well, why is that a concern for me, Rob?
Because us big-headed dudes got to stick together. Great one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Those of us that had the custom football helmets, we got to stick together.
All right. Okay.
They had to order my helmet special. I couldn't just go get one out of the equipment room. They had to order my helmet.
It was extra long. It was like,
well, I got this giraffe neck. Apparently,
Yeah,
I got
you-
a saggy ass, a giraffe neck, and a bowling ball of a head. Is what I've learned about myself in the last 3 weeks.
Did you have a neck roll? 'Cause
No,
that
I did
probably-
not.
That probably would have helped if you had a neck roll.
I didn't play.
Those look pretty sweet in the 80s. I don't know why they went out. They look pretty cool.
They did. Xavier Legette talked out about the L to the Saints and what he wants to do and see moving forward.
Never get a second chance to make a first impression. Yours was pretty good. How did you feel about how you played Sunday and how you build upon it this week?
I felt pretty good out there, and man, I just want to execute the same way this upcoming week.
It was not the result you guys wanted, obviously, but what do you feel you guys did well that you can build upon in the offense this week?
Oh man, really and truly, man. We had some flashes that were pretty good, but nothing is really good to me until we come out with that win and be able to execute our assignment all the way through the game.
How long does it? I'm gonna allow it. I really just wanted to have Xavier Legette talk on the show. That's all. I just want more clips. Said ain't nothing matter to me until we get that W. Which that's how fans feel. They're wrong, but that's how fans feel. Hey, you know who we should talk about this with? Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast. We'll do that next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we're going to step away and get Rashad set up. We'll be right back. What up, fella?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, big dog?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Glad to hear it.
Let's see.
Are you though? Are you? Because that's. I mean, I know small sample size, man. That was rough.
It was bad. It was bad. But you know, it's nothing I can personally do about it. So you know, I can get mad all I want, but I can't change the circumstances. So you know, it is what it is, man. Honestly, but yeah, no, I you know, not happy about it at all. Got a lot of questions, but yeah, it sucks. Sorry, setting up the stream. 1 second.
I'm guessing I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, if me and Rob were coming up and going to the Ren Fair and then going to the game, would you go to the Ren Fair with us?
Probably.
Have you been there before?
Mm-mm.
It's right past Columbia, the one I'm talking about. Not Columbia, Charlotte. Yeah, it's in
What is
Huntersville.
That's where I am. Where is it? What is
You're in
it?
Huntersville? It's North Carolina Renaissance Festival.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm very familiar. Yeah. Big thing around here for sure.
Rob hasn't been to that one before.
I'm not. I've actually never been to a Renaissance fair.
It's a good one to go to, especially for your first one, because it's set up like an amusement park as far as parking goes and all that stuff.
I will go to anything that allows me to just get turkey leg. Turkey legs untouchable.
Yeah, turkey legs are dope.
You can also throw shuriken. And they have the old-fashioned dude that you can throw tomatoes at. And he's got a headset mic.
Okay.
And my dude is good at insults.
I bet. That's a fun thing to heckle people that miss you.
He's been featured on the news in South Carolina and North Carolina. He's so good. If it's the same guy.
Yep.
Well,
that's awesome.
Whether Rob does it or not, I think I probably will, especially because unfortunately the tickets are so cheap. I can go to the tickets for Ren Fair are expensive, but the tickets for Panthers are really cheap.
Probably cost you more to go.
So yeah, I mean, right now I'm looking at like $12 for a couple games.
Yep.
Except for the Chiefs game. The Chiefs game is it's not $12.
Chiefs Cowboys game, those are going to be expensive, but everything else is going to be dirt cheap.
But all that could change, and hopefully it will. Hopefully the ticket prices will quadruple in the next couple of weeks.
Maybe.
Trying to stay positive.
I have as well.
I'm about to bring the power of positivity to the next 15 minutes of our lives, fellas.
I might have to. We'll see. We'll see how
I might be. Don't make me be the most pro Panther person in this segment, Rashad.
We'll see, man. We'll see how the conversation goes. But yeah, we got questions. A lot of questions.
You are not going to pass up on your chance to talk smack. Why would you not?
I didn't say I'm not doing that.
I mean, yeah. All right, here we go.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on, wrapping up hour number 3 of this 4-hour sports talk radio extravaganza. Rob Brown, the great Malonzo, and joining us now as he does every single Thursday at this time. Sometimes he wants to, sometimes, I don't know, we'll find out here in a minute. He don't. Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast, which you can follow on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, go find them on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that bell icon because they go live like a lot of the time, including right now. Shout out to the PNP Army rolling up here on the Rob Brown Show heavy this AM. And we're about to see how everybody's feeling after your future first ballot Hall of Famer Derek Carr went off for 3 tutties in this game, 47-10 in the week 1 contest. Rashad Beard, I am terrified that I'm going to be the only person optimistic about Carolina here, but we'll find out. How we feeling, fella?
Yeah, shocked, honestly. After when watching the game, I was a little shocked, embarrassed. It was not the way we want to start the season. I think that a lot of Panther fans are okay with losing. We're okay with taking the L. It's how you take that L, and I think that's what's really bothering a lot of Panther fans right now. We expect it to be better. We expect it to look better. There's certain aspects of the game that have looked better. There's certain things that have not or have progressed. And so as a fan base, we just want to see some progress, man. It doesn't take much to impress us right now. And unfortunately, things went the opposite way. And I think I can speak for most of Panther fans. We're kind of shell-shocked right now. We did not expect that. We just did not expect that kind of performance. And shout out to Derek Carr. I mean, he looks like the used car is repaired. He went to a nice little service center. He looked good out there. He looked good. I can't even hate.
So let me tell you the way I approach this for the Carolina Panthers and see if I can get you on board. Or if you're going to tell me to bleep off to another dimension with my positivity, all right? But here's where I took it. Yeah, you want to see progression. Yeah, you want to see optimism. Of course, that everybody does. Even the Kansas City Chiefs fans want to see that right now for sure. But I don't think it has been expressed how new this team is, right? Like, you want to see progression from what? From last year where you got a head coach fired 8 weeks into the season, had an interim guy come in, from a team last year that had 3/5 of the offensive line at a different spot or on a different team, from a spot where last year's one receiver is now number 3. Your one receiver this year comes as a number 2 from another team last year. Your number 3 or 2 receiver this year was your number 4 last year, and your number 4 this year was a college player last year. The only thing that's the same that could have progressed from last year to this year was your running back crew. And you knew where the resources went this offseason. It was to fixing the offense, not the defense. So you knew that was going to be a challenge this year. I really think that, and obviously hindsight's 2020, but if you go back and you look at week 1 as a new starting point and not a continuation of 2023 into 2024, at least you can find some optimism that the jump from week 1 to week 2 will be there. I'd be more concerned if you get your ass run out of the building by the Chargers this weekend than I am about what happened in New Orleans.
Yeah, Rob, I got to be honest with you. All that sounded great, but when you're sitting in the situation we're in, dealing what we've been dealing with the past 6 years, it's hard not to merge these years together. It's hard to deal with that. It's hard to look at this squad come out here week in and week out and just look. This game looked like the 19th game of last year, right? It looked like a continuation of last season, right? All that changed. It looks like a lot stayed the same, and that's what's frustrating. And again, I'm trying my best, and again, it's really difficult as a fan that's been dealing with that. You try your best to allow Canellis to do his thing, right? It's not fair to him to kind of levy those expectations on him. He is a new coach, but at the same time, we got to see some progress, man. And again, I don't care about the win or the loss. I need to see progression inside the game. That's what my biggest thing is. And we did see the offensive line did play well. And that's what's concerning is that, you start, and I don't know if we're going to go into Bryce Young specifically, but you're starting to peel those layers away and those excuses away from Bryce Young, right? The offensive line is played really well. We look at the PFF grades after every game, and we haven't seen a performance like that from an offensive line in years. We prayed for performances like that from the offensive line. And we get that performance from the offensive line, giving up less than 10 pressures, and we get still blown out. So there's some things that are looking better, but those, again, the excuses, the wide receiver core looks better, but you got to hit the guy. So Bryce he's got to get better, man. He's just really got to get better. So I don't know if we're going to get in that discussion, but yeah, there's a lot of things that need to get better.
We are going to get in that discussion. Rashad, I'm so glad you brought it up. You're a damn professional is what you are. Let's talk about it, because I made the mistake of getting into the cesspool that was Panthers subreddit on Sunday night after the game. And the majority of the posts were, that's it. I was a BY defender, but I'm out. Guys, and this has been my point, man. Nick Saban said during the first episode of Hard Knocks about Caleb Williams, biggest mistake you make is when you throw a rookie out there in year number 1 with elevated expectations on him. I think you did that to BY. And then you talk about what happened with Frank Reich. And then you talked about what happened with Chris Tabor at the end of the year. And then you talked about going into technically Bryce Young's third head coach. My man's played 1 year. He's on his third head coach, his third offensive coordinator at this point. Like, yeah, I'm not the guy that's going to go, oh, there's no more excuses. Yeah, the hell there are, bud. His starting wide receiver, first time he's worked with this guy, his blanket last year in Adam Thielen is now a slot wide receiver that's more a coverage guy than a run him open kind of guy. Like, I don't understand why everybody expected this guy to come out and go with 100 QBR in game number 1.
Fair. But when all of the things that you're good at, you're supposed to be good at, you're not really looking that great in, that's a problem. That's a red flag for me. You know, the processing, all these things that he was supposed to be great. And again, I'm not trying to dogpile on Bryce. I think there's time to get this thing figured out, right? There's time to get better this year, right? Within this year, there's time to get better. But time is ultimately going to run out. And listen, Canales is not going to put his eggs in the Bryce Young basket if it's not going to go well. He has the opportunity to get his quarterback, right? So, again, do I think Bryce can be salvaged? I hope so. Please understand what I'm saying. I hope that Bryce Young is the guy. I hope we don't have to move on and draft another quarterback. I hope and pray that that's the case. But things are not, we got to call a spade a spade. It did not look good yesterday. You can go back, look at the QB school from JT O'Sullivan. Great job breaking down the QBs. It's not pretty. It's not. I mean, we have to call a spade at some point. So, Rob, my question to you is, all that you said is great, and you're right. But at what point do you say, okay, he might not be that guy?
I don't know, bro, but it ain't the end of 1 week.
I agree. I agree with you. There's time. I agree with you. But you also have to look at the writing on the wall. He has to, at some point, he has to start looking better. Let's just say, can we agree on that?
Sure.
Okay. So I asked the same question Monday after this. Should you be looking towards the draft? And I don't see why you can't. I mean, because I know it's one game, but right now that number 1 pick is looking like that might be happening. So if you're looking at the draft right now, and I know it's early, you got to be thinking quarterback. And is there a quarterback in college right now that would be better than how Bryce is playing right now?
It's a rough QB class. We'll see how it plays out. But ultimately, again, I don't want to get too far ahead in saying we need to draft the quarterback. I know in my emotional state on Sunday, I probably did say that, but I'm going to walk that back, and I don't want to go that far, but I will say this, and I'm trying to be objective, and I'm trying not to be emotional. Bryce, he has time to get this thing figured out. Let's be clear on that.
He does.
He has to be better, though. We have to see some improvement. And again, I do think Canales will have the opportunity and the right to get his. That's how this thing works. He's not going to go down with the Bryce ship. If it's not working out, he's going to cut ties. So, and again, Bryce has a full season to get this thing turned around. I will back Bryce Young in that.
I think that's what I'm asking. And Rashad, there's a couple of other things that we talked about. I'm not gonna do what I did earlier, but PFF put up you know me, I'm a big graph guy. I'm a big dork. Everything's data, baby.
Be glad you didn't see the graph.
Brought up the graph.
Man, it was riveting.
PFF pulled up the graph. All right, big graph guy over here. They went with the graph where they showed the average amount of separation per targeted receiver, the guys that you elect to throw to. And Bryce Young had, and I'm actually looking at it, so I'll just describe it without pulling it up. There were in the entire NFL in week 1, there were 4 teams that had a starting quarterback with a lower accuracy at targeted receivers than Bryce Young. Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Daniel Jones, Deshaun Watson. Sorry, there's 5, and Anthony Richardson. There were 3 teams that had less average separation than Bryce Young. The receiver core is upgraded. We all agree with that. Nobody's going to push back. Deontay Johnson's a big ad. Adam Thielen going back to the slot. That's my favorite thing. We're all waiting because I think we saw some flashes out of Xavier that he's going to be a good 4. Maybe a little shaky at the 2. Maybe Xavier that moves into the 2. We'll find out. You were also up against Rashad, and I'll toot the horn here. I think the best defensive back unit in the NFC South. I think probably one of the best 2 or 3 defensive back units in the NFC, maybe the NFL as a whole. I don't know. I'm not saying Bryce doesn't have to be better. He absolutely does, for sure. But you put them up against the D-line that's anchored by Jordan and Young. Those are two very good defensive ends, and the weak spots on your defensive line or your offensive line are the tackles. And you were sending a gelling new set of wide receivers against one of the best defensive back cores. All I'm saying is I get being down. You got your butts whooped. I understand it. You want to be competitive. But the situation in the context you were in, Rashad, I'm saying if you're running to slam the eject button right now, it's premature. That's it from me.
Agree. I would agree. And I fully agree with your comment about the Saints defense. They are really good. That's a tough defense, right? So that's a challenge. However, at the same time, there were some throws that need to be completed, right? There's some throws, some interceptions that don't need to be thrown. So I agree. Again, Bryce has to step it up. Can we turn it around? Absolutely. There's still time. It's not over, right? The season is not over. We just want to see progress. The bar is extremely low for Canales and the Panthers. Let's just get it right. Let's just be competitive and be in a game. That's all we're asking. And hopefully that turns around, man. I hope that they took this to heart. I hope that there's some dog in there. I hope that they turn it around. But that was not a great way to start the season. I'm hopeful. That's all I have is hope.
Here's my thought. You got the Chargers coming to town, ran the hell out of the football last week. You lose Derek Brown. That's obviously a blow. We all know what that does to the defense, but this is a team in San Diego that does not want to turn it loose. They don't want this thing to turn into a 42-35 track meet. They want to run the ball and pace it. I think that's good for you guys, right? I'll tell you what I'm looking for. Yeah, consistency and better out of Bryce Young. Bro, just come out and punch the people in the mouth. Just come out and show, like you just said, come out and show me you got that dog, and then we'll work on cleaning up the X's and O's after that. But if I look at a team that looks dispirited, disinterested, and it gets pushed around early in this one, that's where I'll check out.
Yeah, Derek Brown's a major loss, best player on the team, in my opinion.
Sure.
So that run defense is going to be problematic, and the Chargers, like you said, do like to run the football. One thing that you mentioned is absolutely correct. The Panthers need to turn and lean on that run game, right? That's one thing we could not do last week because the game just got out of control too fast. I think Canales wants to run the football. We didn't get an opportunity to do so. If we can get that run game going and not put so much on Bryce, maybe things will be better. But that's the biggest change I want to see from last week. Get us 30 runs, 30 rush attempts. Chuba, Miles Sanders. Let's run the football. Let's make it competitive and allow Bryce to kind of put that cherry on the top. But we'll see. We'll see.
Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, find them on YouTube. Click subscribe. Make sure you're in there. Rashad and the boys go live all the time. They got expert opinions and analysis you're not finding from anybody else in the game. Rashad, who dat?
Yeah, you got it, man. I can't. Yeah, you got it until next time. Hopefully, when they come to the bank, things will change. But I can't. There's nothing I can say. We are definitely not that for sure.
I'll see you at BOA. I'm feeling good about round 2.
I thank you for sparing me because you could have definitely talked way more. So thank you. I appreciate that.
I felt bad enough for you.
Come on, I'm disappointed. I mean, because Rashad's not going to hold back if it's the opposite.
I'm not. Just be prepared.
What do I need to? All I got to do is say 47-10 and leave the room. I can't do worse than that. 47-10.
It's true.
See you next week, big dog.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Rashad Beard, Panther Nation podcast, joins us every Thursday at 8:40 here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Lonzo reads you a sports flash at the end of every hour on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
It's very exciting. As baseball's postseason inches closer, the Atlanta Braves find themselves fighting with the New York Mets for the final wild card spot after a 5-1 loss to the Washington Nationals yesterday. Atlanta is currently 1 game behind New York, and after an off day today, will start a 4-game set with the league-leading Dodgers. Former South Carolina Gamecock Angel Wilson has etched her name into WNBA history books again, setting the league single-season scoring record and 86-75 win over the Indiana Fever last night. Wilson ended the game with 27 points and is now just 44 points away from becoming the league's first 1,000-point scorer. Make sure you tune in tonight, at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels head to Greer to take on the Yellow Jackets. Also tune in Saturday at 12:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Stetson Hatters. Right here on your home for both Furman football and Burns football. You guessed it. It's us, the Fan Upstate.
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Are you sick of all the fancy charts and investment mumbo jumbo thrown at you to justify the Wall Street fees you're being charged? It's not the size of your nest egg that matters, but rather the income it can produce. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement.
The Sports Flash is the only reason we do the show.
Thank you, James.
We just kill 60 minutes between Sports Flashes.
Sports Flash is my punishment from the boss. He thinks it's hilarious. And it is a contest every day to see if I can squeeze in as much as I can in a minute without my tongue getting tied, which I think I've had one really good one. And it was like last year in December, possibly. Just because of Christmas cheer or something. Look at them showing Greeny on Dancing with the Stars.
Greeny's on Dancing with the Stars?
No, this is old.
Oh, that is old.
Yeah.
That's like season 1 old.
It's before he threw the beard up there. Or the goatee or whatever.
Alona Mayer, the rugby chick, is on this year or this season.
I turn everything around, James. That's what I do, man.
Sean just had his day ruined.
Oh, look, Green's dancing.
Hey, I've never hidden from Shad that I'm a Saints fan. I introduced myself to Shad as a Saints fan, but I also want you to know, since I moved here, I've been to every Saints at Panthers game, and I have met Shad and bought him a drink at every Saints and Panthers game.
Ooh, the new SpaceX helmet. Have you seen it?
I have not.
I'll send it to you. It looks sweet. It looks very video game. That's what I thought it was when I first saw it. It's like, okay. Extravehicular activity suits during today's spacewalk. I think that already happened in spacewalk.
That is some.
I mean,
that is some interstellar looking stuff.
Yeah, I want to see the entire suit. Definitely video game like. Wow, probably should have took that down, but we're really late. I have an excuse to leave that in. I think they've actually played Yellow Jackets 3 weeks in a row. That is so weird.
And away we go. The fourth and final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show starts now. This is the Fan Upstate. Rob the Great Malonzo with you here on a beautiful upstate. It's not beautiful. It's overcast. It's gross outside. I don't care. There's football on tonight. Bills Dolphins AFC East showdown between a pair of teams that both feel like they are ready to compete for the Super Bowl. The Bills are not, but they got a chance when Josh Allen is quarterback of that team. The Miami Dolphins, on the other hand, did not have the offensive explosion, or at least score the points that they thought they were going to score in a week one contest that was a Sunshine State showdown between the Finns and the Jaguars. They'll look to pick up their offensive output coming up this evening when they take on the Buffalo Bills. Interesting contest between these two squads. And we will talk about that one coming up here in just a little while. Also here in just a little while, Fight Club with the great Lonzo next segment. We got plenty we need to get to. We got a big UFC card coming up this weekend with UFC Noche 306, I think it is. Yay. Sean O'Malley, Sugar Shane back in the octagon. And of course, as the phrase goes, back on his bull. But also I'm kind of a fan. So we'll talk about some UFC, maybe get some pro wrestling in here in just a few minutes as well. We have got a couple of things I want to get to before we get up out of here on the show. Patrick Mahomes is now your heavy favorite to be the NFL MVP. And I don't have an issue with that. All right? I don't.
It's a little surprising because I think he's becoming like Michael Jordan, like LeBron,
like Tom Brady.
No, I was gonna point out another basketball player, the greatest basketball player in the world, who just wants to go.
You already
home
did. You said LeBron.
To his horses.
It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
There he is. So I think he's, once you're out there, because it is the best player, but it's also kind of popularity. And I think after a while, people get tired of picking the same guys over and over again. He didn't win it last year, believe it or not.
We have had
Lamar won it last year, right?
Correct. We have had before the conversation about the concept of award fatigue, right? Voter fatigue when it comes to particular players.
We don't have that, by the way. Hopefully we don't. There's not award fatigue for this program.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be real bummed if we don't get to 4 next year.
We want to hit that 3 in a row.
Correct. Real bummed if we don't get to 4 next year. Voter fatigue's a real thing, and Lamar did get it last year, which, by the way, that is part of the reason that Lamar was like 20-1 to repeat, right? 20-1 to repeat. And you can't hit me with, well, the odds went down because he's got Derrick Henry added to the mix. The Chiefs, right? If you're going to tell me about it's because Lamar's got more weapons this year, again, the Chiefs, they got a couple of weapons. And oh, by the way, that Xavier Worthy cat.
If he's just a little bit faster.
If he was a little bit faster, they'd have to make him like a special superhero suit to wear. The guy's unreal. It's just unreal. So I don't believe it's because of the weapons. What I am intrigued by, and what I will be keeping an eye on, is how many games Kansas City doesn't cover spreads in, but as Lonzo has pointed out the last couple of years, wins these unnecessarily tight games. And does Mahomes get credit for that, or does he get blamed for it? Because I do think, as Zoe pointed out, it is not just a popularity contest. And it is. Let's be clear. It's not just a popularity contest, but I also think there are a lot of people that have a say in that award and really in just the narrative overall that, and I don't blame them for it. I think fans do this all the time. But I think there's a lot of people that have a say in that award and a say in the direction of the narrative that base their attack of the narrative on how they feel about a guy, about him personally, about him professionally, about him in the locker room, about him out of the locker room, about his the charity work they do or the crimes that they commit and get away with or whatever, right? I think there's a lot of that. And when I look at Pat Mahomes, I wonder if we kept the results of games like last weekend against the Ravens, a game that, if we're being honest, Kansas City's lucky to have not at least had to stop a 2-point conversion to win, maybe gone to overtime, maybe outright lost the game.
Yeah, how many games could you say that last year?
A bunch.
Including the Super Bowl.
Correct.
So, I mean,
if we said regular season last year, good regular season, but regular season where the Chiefs were in some dog fights against teams that they were favored by 6.5 plus points in. If we took Patrick Mahomes and we flipped him with Ryan Tannehill, well, no, he's not there anymore. If we took him and we flipped him with pick me a middle, Derek Carr, would the narrative be the same? Would everybody look and go, would you look at that? Derek Carr leading the Chiefs to victory, or would they do what the voters have done this year and make Patrick Mahomes a hefty MVP favorite because of it? They couldn't be winning these games without Patrick Mahomes. They just couldn't do it. I don't know. I'm intrigued by that. I don't want to say I was stunned, but when I looked at the MVP odds, which, as we mentioned, again, Patrick Mahomes is now the solo favorite to bring home that trophy. When I looked at that, I went, after one game, a game where he was in a fist fight with Lamar Jackson, a game in which he was in a fist fight with Lamar Jackson, and the only reason that he didn't, at the least, win because the Ravens failed a 2-point conversion, perhaps outright lose because they didn't score a 2-point conversion. Is he really just the clear odds-on favorite to win this game? Like, is that legitimate? I feel like maybe we're kind of jumping out of our shoes to celebrate this guy. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I'm a clown because I do it with Josh Allen every week. But for the record, I do it with Josh Allen every week because it makes me laugh. All right? It makes me laugh. He is a really good player.
And because it annoys me.
Maybe a little bit.
Or Chris Collinsworth is secretly your boy, and you just trying to make him happy.
Listen, if you're going to go with Collinsworth is my boy, then I'm going to go with every other guy is your boy for the treatment Mahomes gets on a broadcast weekly. Look at that. Nobody can do what this guy can do. And don't get me wrong, that is correct. I'm not arguing that that's untrue. I'm just saying we say it every time he touches the football.
Yeah, I hear blatant disrespect every single week out of all those guys.
I mean, I get that.
And so do
that's like the whole vibe now. That's like your whole war cry. Disrespect. I'll never get over Kelsey coming off of Super Bowl championship number 2 and going, nobody said we could be here. My guy, you were the NFL Super Bowl favorite before the season started. Everybody thought you were going to be there. Everybody thought you were going to be there. Stop.
I don't think they were picked to win the Super Bowl.
They absolutely were. The last 2 years in a row and again this year, by the way.
I think San Francisco had better odds. I think San Francisco was picked to win that game.
No, I mean preseason. I'm talking about in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Actually, no, I don't think San Francisco was favored last year.
I'm pretty sure they were.
I don't think they were. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. Yeah, I do. I didn't eat breakfast. Not the point. We'll see. We'll see. NFL MVP favorite right now, Patrick Mahomes, despite the fact that he was in an absolute scrap. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Lamar Jackson tumbled down the list because of that loss. Not because of that loss. He's 16-1 now. I think he was at 9-1 at one point last week. I don't think he tumbled out of the list because of the loss. I think he tumbled out of the list because of one throw. If he makes that throw to Zay Flowers and the Ravens win that game, you flip those two numbers. Mahomes is up top. Mahomes is 4-1 right now. Josh Allen plus 550. CJ Stroud is third, 9-1. Jalen Hurts 10-1. Joe Burrow 14-1. Lamar 16-1. If Lamar hits Flowers in the end zone and the Ravens win that game, I'm going Jackson and Mahomes are tied at like 5-1 right now.
All right, early pick. End of the season. It's not Mahomes. It's not Jackson. Who is it?
CJ Stroud or Josh Allen. I hate to go chalk. Here's the thing. You seen all this stuff with Joe Burrow in the wrist and all that?
The water bottle.
Water bottle.
He really struggled with that water bottle. Wow. It's over. He's done.
It's cooked.
The water bottle barely slipped.
Cooked.
I mean, he did the no look, pick up the bottle, and there's sweat, condensation, whatever on the bottle, and it slipped a little bit on him, and people are freaking out.
For those of you that have missed it, there's a couple of video clips that are circulating around right now about Joe Burrow. One of them comes from Joe Burrow standing around on the sideline waiting for the offense to go back out on the field, and the camera clips in, and it's him working his repaired throwing wrist. Right, he's like kind of like moving it, or you know how you do when your wrist hurts, you kind of roll your wrist around a little bit.
When you're old and arthritic, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the one. It shows him doing that. And then there's another clip where he's on the sideline, he's on the bench, and he goes to pick up a water bottle with his throwing hand. And as he gets it up to like waist level, it kind of starts to slip. And people are making the I don't know, assumption, accusation, whatever words you want to use there, that happened because Joe's wrist is not good. And so there was a lot of conversation on the internet yesterday about, is Burrow cooked? I'm not going that far. I don't think that's accurate. I think Joe Burrow had to play a game without his two best wide receivers effectively.
Here's what he needs to do. He needs to throw an iPad on the sidelines, and then we'll know if he's okay or not.
That's fair. By the way, I heard a take yesterday that drove me up a damn wall. I heard a guy yesterday. I can't remember who it was. I think it was on CBS. And he comes in and he goes, if you take away Joe Burrow's elite receivers, he's just not as good. Yeah. That's kind of how that works, bud.
Not for everybody, but it might for him.
No, it's definitely that way for everybody.
No. Patrick Mahomes lost elite receivers. Tom Brady back in the day didn't have elite receivers like ever except for once, and we're actually seeing what Josh is doing right now without elite receivers.
What did Brady do when he had an elite receiver once? No big deal. Just set the record for most touchdowns between a quarterback and a wide receiver.
He didn't do that year?
It doesn't matter. He set all the records.
He didn't win the Super Bowl that year.
I don't disagree. But the point here is, yeah, it's pretty damn obvious that if a quarterback doesn't have his best wide receivers, his numbers aren't going to be as good. If we find out tomorrow that the Chiefs are without Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice this weekend, yeah, Mahomes' numbers are coming down. That's how wide receivers work. What a dumb take. What an atrocious take.
I disagree, because then Juju would step up and he'd have to throw the ball a little bit more to Kelsey, and he'd be all right. Hit Pacheco out of the back. Steele would get in there, start catching some balls.
All right. Well,
and Noah Gray, don't forget about him. So, I mean,
outside of the Roman god that is Patrick Mahomes, every other quarterback in history sees their numbers go down if they don't have their time. Of course his numbers came down without T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Of course they came down.
Saying, I thought Josh Allen was going to be pretty bad last week, and he was okay, even without losing.
Did we see Josh Allen win that game with his arm, or did we see him win that game with his playmaking in the wheels? The two touchdowns he scored were rushing touchdowns, not passing. Now, if Keon Coleman breaks out, maybe it's a different story. We'll find out. Hey, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. When we come back, the return of Fight Club with the great Lonzo. Take a look around the worlds of combat sports, UFC, MMA, professional wrestling, maybe some boxing. We'll find out what Lonzo's got in store for us next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
I'm just listening to the bed. Why did it do that?
friends to break the attractions with your friends. Got kids? They'll be able to take over the lead. Monsters. Mad World is the upstate's most anticipated event of the year. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Located in Tijuana on exit 35. Buy your tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com.
Ready to take your business to the next level? In today's fast-paced marketing world, staying ahead isn't just an option, it's essential. That's where scale Scale Marketing is your performance marketing partner. We specialize in helping mid-sized B2C companies with teams of over 100 thrive. Scale Marketing is a full-service agency offering expertise in performance marketing across traditional and digital platforms, creative production, and data analytics. We treat your money like it's our own, ensuring every dollar is spent with purpose and every decision is driven by data. Our knowledgeable team stays ahead of the trends, crafting strategies that align with your business goals. Partnering with Scale Marketing means gaining a dedicated strategist and a team committed to your success. Get ready to lead the market. Visit scalemarketing.com today. That's scalemarketing.com.
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated. Are you sick of all the fancy charts and investment mumbo jumbo thrown at you to justify the Wall Street fees you're being charged? It's not the size of your nest egg that matters, but rather the income it can produce. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement.
What, dude? Do I have a hump? Is that no?
No, your shirt has stripes on the shoulders. It looks like stripes.
Oh, okay. Because I immediately went to the okay. All right. This is my bowling shirt, and I don't even think it was from last year. I think it might have been two years ago. Yeah.
I still have mine. I still wear it.
This is the first time I've worn it since we were actually doing the league. I'm changing my name to Quasimodo.
Do I have a hump?
She gave me water. Or what hump? By the way, Wesley, that is a very apt description. Anytime there's free bowling for me, for us, it is field day. Plus the chance to compete against your fellow employees, especially that show it's on in the afternoon. I mean, you got to look forward to that. Welcome into the final Fight Club of September. I think it's the final one of September. Isn't it?
I mean, we can.
Is there another one in September? I don't think so.
Hang on, I'm looking. Let's see. I'm out. I leave. The last show is next Tuesday. Yeah, it is.
It's the final one of September.
Yeah, because I'm out the next 2 Thursdays. I will be out. We'll be here Monday, Tuesday next week. I'm off Wednesday through Friday, and then I'm off the entire week after that. And so the next. I mean, we can do one next Tuesday if you want. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be suffering a major case of senioritis on Tuesday next week.
Yeah, I get it.
So maybe we do one on Tuesday.
But here's the other thing. You're going on vacation, so am I. So
we do on Tuesday.
So I'm working Wednesday, but then I'm off. And so I'm going to have that problem too. But we can do it. I mean, the problem, we'll just have Monday Night Raw. But we actually will have a pay-per-view that we'll be able to talk about having just happened for UFC. Before we get to that, though, there's a major question I have to ask Rob Brown. That's him over there.
That is me.
Who's bigger heel? Hangman right now, this moment. Hangman Adam Page or friend of the show Gunther?
Ooh, hey, it's got to be Gunther, right?
You know what Gunther didn't do?
Burn down a man's house.
Yeah, he didn't do that.
Burned down.
He did.
Here's why. Here's why.
He didn't slam a guy on the cinder block on his back.
I actually thought about
He
this.
didn't like take a needle and just.
I actually thought about this. What Swerve did was worse than what Hangman did. Because Hangman, Swerve didn't live in that house. That was an empty house.
That's
right?
true.
It was
That's
a shot
true.
at home, sure,
It
but
was,
like
it was retaliation.
he didn't live there anymore.
You're right.
Swerve went into Paige's house and stood over his child's crib.
He did.
And made threats. All right. So I'm gonna go with. As much as they're trying to paint the Hangman, the Millennial Cowboy, as the bad guy here, there is nothing that he has done that isn't a direct repercussion of Swerve's actions in the past. And we're just memory holing that Swerve went into Paige's house and stood over his child's crib. I ain't got a child, but I would imagine I'd be much more ticked off to see a man in my house without permission in my child's bedroom than I would burning down a house I don't live in.
All right. So I don't know which is scarier as a heel, the unhinged heel like Hangman Adam Page, or Gunther, the maniacal looking villain from a James Bond movie that just looks at you and smiles and says whatever he wants to say. Like Goldberg is his favorite wrestler
Again,
to Bret Hart, which was
Hangman-
amazing, by the way.
Hangman's not a heel. He's a guy getting payback for things Swerve's already done. Gunther, on the other hand, looked Bret the Hitman Hart, the excellence of execution, in the face and told him that his favorite wrestler is the guy who punted Bret Hart in the face so hard that Bret was medically retired, not in kayfabe, IRL, in real life. Bret could never wrestle again because Goldberg kicked him in the head, and Gunther looked that man, an icon, in the face and said, my favorite wrestler is the guy who, in real life, ended your brain. That's that's the bad guy here.
He also had some really bad words for Randy Orton, talking about him being a screw up and his whole family were screw ups. His dad was a screw up. His grandpa was a screw up. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is why he should be in the position that he's in right now. But I'm more afraid of Hangman Adam Page than I am Gunther.
I mean, listen.
And Gunther sat right over there, and he's very intimidating.
He is very intimidating. But he's also the nicest,
which is, it's unsettling.
It's wild
because that's what a true villain would do. They would be charming.
Yeah.
But you ask him a certain question, and it like I did, and it flared up in him just for a moment, and you saw it's always there underneath the surface whenever he needs it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I genuinely enjoyed that day, and even because he did not do, Lonzo and I've told you many times, whenever we interview wrestlers, we play a game that the wrestlers don't know what we're playing, and that game is we start the interview without knowing if they're in character or if they're just the person. And more often than not, I feel like they appreciate the opportunity to be the performer and not the character that they perform. Damian was that way. Gunther was that way. Introduced himself to me as Walter, not as Gunther, right? So that's always good. You get some guys that kind of walk the line, but I think the ability to take that, blend it into a bad guy is so undervalued and underappreciated, and the ability to kind of toe that line of I will bring real life actor stories into your character's life and make it work is it's a tough thing to do, to walk that line, and Gunther nails it.
He does. All right, next question. Raw is going to 2 hours. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did heard about
that. Is that good or bad?
It's bad. It's listen, 4 hours. I think you go 3. I feel like what you end up having happen is something that has been a problem on SmackDown for a very long time, which is when a story ends up getting white hot, like the Bloodline did in its OG run, like the Shields breakup did back in the day, Daniel Bryan, whatever, you end up having to dedicate multiple segments to that story in multiple shows. The Judgment Day, at one point, great story, great compelling stuff, but it was eating 3 segments a show. When you go to 2 hours, you have 8 segments, right? There's a reason this show's 4 hours. 8 segments is over that fast.
All right, I just want to say, when they go to Netflix, if they go 2 straight hours with no commercial breaks, then they technically are going 3 hours, because if you cut out commercials out of this show or we've seen how long the podcasts are. The podcasts generally are between 34 and 38 minutes, which means there's over 20 minutes of commercials. The same thing happens on TV. So if when they go to Netflix, they're 2 hours, but it's 2 hours without breaks, you're still, you technically are doing a 3 hour show.
I agree entirely, and also say I don't think there's any way they're going entirely. You see less commercials, but not entirely commercial free. Netflix did not pay that much money to bring these people on board and not try to recoup some of it by just at least throwing a 30-second in there every 10 minutes and charging big time cash for it. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. And I kind of hope that I am. 2 hours commercial free will be one thing, but here's the other thing. When you book wrestling shows, there are cool down matches and there are break matches and there are break segments where you know that what you're sending out there as an excuse to give people the opportunity to get up, go to the bathroom, buy their popcorn, whatever. And that's true for the people at home too. I got to tell you, I'm going to get up and pee. I'm going to go microwave a burrito. I'm going to go pour myself a drink or whatever.
When it's on Netflix or even now, I mean, you can pause it. You absolutely can at home. But you know what you can't pause? You cannot pause a live event. And WWE is cutting down on live events. What I'm talking about is events that aren't televised. So, and it doesn't happen very often. I've been to, I think, 2 WWE shows at the Well that came through that were not on TV.
Like a house show?
Yeah, house shows. They're cutting those down. I'm
gonna tell you right now, that of all the things, all the changes happening, that's the saddest for me. Now I understand because it's to protect the wrestlers, right? Like I'm gonna tell you right now.
They also make more money off of
merch and all that.
All of it. Televised shows and PLEs.
I don't disagree. Here's why it's bad. It's bad for people who go. Because I'll tell you right now, you will never have as much fun as you will at a house show. House shows are the best because they're still the character, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the funniest match I've ever seen happened at a WWE house show down in Pensacola. I took my little brother because he's not a wrestling guy, but he'll go if they're in town. There was a match between the New Day, the very early New Day, right? It was not very early, not when they did they tried to make them a heel faction.
Pancake.
Yeah, but like the brand new fun New Day and the Shield towards the probably middle end of the Shield's run. And dude, it was Moxley was a riot because he kept goofing off with the New Day. Like he kept going over and being a lunatic, but with the New Day, and the New Day was like eating it up and hamming it up. But then they worked that into being a reason that the Shield actually lost to New Day that night, and then went full maniacal heel, beating the hell out of him. And my brother went from, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, to I have to watch Raw now because I have to know what happens with this, right? House shows are the best thing in wrestling, and if they stop those or do them dramatically less when we already don't get house shows in big markets, that'll be a bummer.
Well, it looks like it's going to happen. Speaking of New Day, pictures out there of Big E in the gym working out. Now, he has never said that he wasn't doing that, but the fact that he's putting those pictures out there, I still don't think he's ever wrestling again. But there's just a little glimmer of hope in me, hoping that he does.
I'm with you entirely. I will understand and probably in a weird way support him never wrestling again because the injury he went through is genuinely life-threatening if it's aggravated. But at the same time, Big E for a hot minute there, best thing in wrestling.
Absolutely.
Best thing in wrestling.
Absolutely.
McIntyre at a con the other day was asked who his dream match is, and he pointed right at Big E.
Well, I will also say him on pre-shows, still
phenomenal.
Pretty good. Him and CM Punk together, surprisingly, pretty funny.
Yeah, especially considering the backstory with all of that. But I would go with if he doesn't wrestle again, that's fine. You give him all the mic time you can spare, and just you know why? Because he is a big meaty man who's also a gigantic wrestling dork, and you can tell that shines through, and I love it.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. Speaking of someone who wasn't supposed to wrestle again, Nigel McGuinness. I don't know if you saw this.
I did
last night.
I did.
Got permission from Tony Khan. Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson going to wrestle again. Now we know Bryan Danielson's almost done, and this is a feud that goes back forever. And if you ever listen to Nigel doing commentary, he destroys Bryan Danielson every chance he gets, even when he's not wrestling.
Yep.
He will bring him in to destroy him. This is a match I can't wait to see.
Same. And listen, this is a tribute match. This is a respect. This is a farewell.
By the way,
match.
Nigel been behind the mic for a couple years. but dude is jacked and
He's
ready to
jacked.
go.
I am also going to say I hope he's in the gym because he surprise entranced into that Casino Royale battle royal a couple of weeks ago. Looked real good coming out, looked real good for a hot minute. And once they actually had to start doing wrestling stuff, he looked real not great. So I'm hoping he takes the time and they get together and work because that's got the opportunity to be a spectacular match. And again, it's a farewell tour for Daniel Bryan Danielson, and Nigel has been such a big part of his history. It's great that he's going to be part of that tour. Obviously, Bryan Danielson's winning that match, but just the heat they've had between each other makes it interesting. I just hope Nigel remembers how to wrestle because if he comes out and he stinks like he did in that match, it'll be a bigger disappointment than if they just left him to burn Daniel on the mic.
All right, you heard that. Do better, Nigel. All right, and the last wrestling
Don't tell him
thing,
I said that. He will still destroy me.
Orange Cassidy and his friends, his conglomeration, they dropped $7,000 worth of coins in Jericho's Bentley last night, and I don't believe it. And I don't know if maybe you could sue AEW for inaccuracy. I just think $7,000 worth of coins would be more than that. And I get that they used a bulldozer and they dumped the coins in the car. But and I'm glad that Orange Cassidy got changed for $1. That was a good move for him to make sure it wasn't over $7,000 for Jericho's coat. But and Kyle O'Reilly hanging off the side of the little bulldozer thing was great.
For the record, if it was quarters, and I'm
it was
assuming,
a mix. It was a mix.
Yeah, if it was quarters exclusively, that's only 2,800 quarters. That's not it sounds like a lot. It's not a lot.
Okay, all right, but there were pennies and dimes and nickels in there.
So let's say it was 3,500 coins. Still not a lot.
I don't know that I'm thinking Scrooge McDuck type stuff, but maybe I am. I expected the thing to be full of coins.
I worked in a bank, and I can tell you that money's weird when you think about it in quantity. I actually once held $1 million. Great one. You can hold $1 million in a hand, right? You shouldn't feel that way.
Is that all thousands?
It's 100. I think you can even do it in even. I think in hundreds, it's basically like one brick, right?
Okay.
It's
All
not.
right.
It doesn't feel like that much. Point here is that's absolutely freaking hilarious.
It was pretty good.
Absolutely
it was.
hilarious.
All right. Conor McGregor was serving drinks at a bar last night. You walk up and Conor's at the bar. Are you getting a drink?
Yeah, why not?
Because you don't like Conor. I'm just curious.
You know what I do like? Whiskey.
Okay. All right.
All
I
right.
just didn't. You got it.
Now I'll tell you
And
what
he
I am
has his
doing.
own whiskey company.
I'll tell you what I am doing. I'm not ordering his. I'm absolutely ordering his direct competitor.
Will you order something mixed just to see if he can do it?
No.
Okay.
I'm walking up straight to him. I'm looking in the face and I'm going, I'd like a Tullamore neat, please. Just a straight Tully do neat.
So no ice, no nothing.
Nope, just a straight Tully do neat. I don't want you to do anything other than pick up your direct competitor's bottle, pour it in a glass, hand it to me, and I'm drinking it, maintaining eye contact. Take that.
I don't know.
He
dude.
won't punch me because I'm not 70.
I don't know, dude. That 70-year-old guy could take a punch better than either one of us.
I mean, probably fair.
Yeah, that guy was.
That guy's 100% Irish Mafia.
He for sure.
100%
That was
Irish
the
Mafia.
message sent by the Mafia guy, not by Conor. All right, the Sphere is happening. Dana White is acting like this is going to be the only thing that's ever been done like this, and it's true because this would be the first one. Man, I wish I could be there. I've heard and seen so many things about the Sphere,
It's
but
dope, dude.
watching a fight there, whatever they're going to do on the Sphere itself while you're inside there, it's got to be an amazing thing. And the card is good.
Card is good.
Good enough for me to probably be buying it. And it's been a while, but I love Sean O'Malley. I do. And I want to see his fight. And I'm a big
You think Suga's got a chance to be like the face of UFC at some point?
I think he kind of is
Yeah.
right now. Because he's entertaining, and I don't think there's been a lot of problems with him like there have been with other people, other than someone stole a bike out of his yard, which is so stupid. I don't know if they got away with that or not.
Case the joint
Yeah.
first, idiot.
Yeah. I also want to see Valentina Shevchenko. I hate that she's lost a couple of times, and I believe this is a trilogy for the belt against Alexa Grasso. I want to see that, and I've watched some fight nights here and there, but I haven't seen a pay-per-view in about a year, And I think this might be the one, might be the time, because we don't know if anybody else will fight in the Sphere ever again. So it's one of those, let's see this thing happen for the first time.
Yeah, this is a great card. I very much like the main event. This is it's a styles make fights. You've heard that 1,000 times. Doesn't matter if you're talking about boxing or wrestling or MMA. Styles make fights, and this is a clash of two different styles. This is a spot where you've got one guy who's going to want to stand up and land haymakers and one who's going to want to take this thing straight to the ground and grapple a little bit. So it's got the opportunity to be very good. As far as the co-main event of Grasso and
Shevchenko.
That's the one.
Yep. That's
what I was going for. This one is very interesting. And they've got
You
tension.
notice I didn't say the name of the guy that Sean O'Malley's fighting. Mirab, I think it is.
Oh, Valashvili?
Yeah. That was closer than Shevchenko.
I feel like I nailed it. Yeah, that guy. I don't know what it's the one I can't do.
She's a girl.
That's
fine.
That's Shevchenko. I can get Shevchenko.
That's what I said, Shevchenko.
Yeah, but I was whatever. Point here is this is an opportunity. These two have some history. They have been under the same coach, but also rivals. They were on season 30 something of Ultimate Fighter against each other. Like there's some history here. This card is the first UFC card I have watched in a while and will watch probably 4. Hey, well, pretty pumped about it. All right, come back, wrap up the show. Rob Alonzo with you, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, you know what, James? I know it's physically not possible really to do the Scrooge McDuck swim. But, I mean, try to get underneath them would be kind of fun. Some might make their way into your pocket. I'm just saying. Inadvertently, of course, because never on purpose.
Without drugs or injection. Hi, this is Dr. Elliot Berkman. We like weight loss, and we know the secret to losing a half a pound to a pound of fat every day, naturally, safely, and effectively, without counting points or calories. No exercising, no prepackaged meals, no drugs, no surgery. Go to mynewlifeweightloss.com now.
Hey, it's Rob Brown. I've been telling you for a while, getting married at the end of this month, and I'm very excited. Why? Because my wedding suit looks incredible in the pictures that are going to be hanging in my house. I'm going to be very proud of them. I've lost over 50 pounds and 10 inches off my waistline with New Life. You can do it too. Call them, tell them you heard about them from Rob Brown. By the end of this month, get $250 off the program.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. For your free consultation, call 864-719.
No, I'm guessing it will be pretty heavy and it probably would hurt. But, you know. But if that was actually $7,000 worth of coins last night, which again, I still doubt, it's not really that much coin wise. He did work at a bank. He's told me that many times, Steven. I mean, I don't know that. All right, I guess I could look it up. One of the first questions when I looked that up, Steven, is it legal to carry $1 million?
I mean, that's what it wouldn't be.
Well, you're not going to be able to, unless you, well, I guess you'd have to have that kind of money to pull that kind of money
A bank
out.
is going to encourage you to put that into
not a certified check. What do they call it? There's a note. Forget what it's called.
James and I were discussing actually trying to swim in coins, and
You can't.
yeah, I know, I realize how heavy it is, but just be able to just get your arms in there would be kind of cool, and probably would hurt, but still.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Granger. Granger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier.
All right, it takes $1,000 bills to make a million. I don't know how thick 1,000. People are not believing that you actually held $1 million in your hand.
I have. I worked at, well, I won't tell you the bank, but I worked at a very popular bank. I was the bank manager.
Okay, so
I was the floor manager.
According to this, it would be 10,000 inches high. That doesn't make sense. Well, that's $1 billion. Never mind. Yeah, I know. 37 jobs. You ought to be able to, have $1 million.
Just as an FYI for those of you that are checking the math, a dollar bill is 0.0043 inches thick. If you wanted to make $1 million out of just $100 bills, that stack would be 4.3 inches tall. Okay.
I love that you're using the tone too.
It would be this tall. So for those of you that are like, no, you haven't. Yeah, I have. You can hold $1 million in $100 bills in one hand. It's not even 5 inches of $100 bills. All right. It's not. This is why I've always said numbers. I'm bad at them, but they're fun. They're fun, right? The difference between $1 million and $1 billion. How many times have I said it on the show? A million seconds is 11 days. $1 billion seconds is 30 plus years.
How did you know it was $1 million? Did someone hand it to you, or someone was pulling it out the bank?
I worked. Somebody was. I think they were bringing it in.
Oh, they deposited $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, they brought it in like a briefcase. Like it was no joke. It was like we had to take this
Is there
guy.
a chain involved?
No, you'd think he had it like handcuffed.
Yeah,
but
that's
he
what I
didn't,
mean.
Right?
Yeah.
I expected it. Nope. It was just a guy who walked in with a briefcase.
Does he wear a fedora?
No, he was full suit though. Like
Okay,
obviously
all right,
full suit. You don't walk around with $1 million and not.
Was
in a
he
suit.
bald?
Now you're asking me all kinds of questions.
I
can't
know,
remember
but
the
because
difference
I'm
in
just trying to imagine what kind of dude walks in.
No,
with $1
it was
million.
just like it was a dude who, if I recall correctly, and now this was like 2010. This was like 14 years ago. If I recall correctly, it was a dude who owned a bunch of car washes down in the Florida Panhandle. And this is why I've said, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I don't think I will. I don't think we have any sponsors I will get in trouble for. You know how there's like a gazillion car washes in every. I'm like 90% sure they're a front at this point, right? They're a money laundering front. At least some of them, not all of them.
I don't know.
But at least some of them are a money line. Same with mattress stores. There's a place not too far from where I live where there's 2 mattress stores, same store, within like a mile of each other.
Well, think about it. I mean, as far as display goes, you only have so much room to display a mattress. So you may only have like 10 mattresses in the entire place. I mean, depending on how much space you got in the back, they're pretty big. So you're not going to, it's like cars. I mean, you only have so much space to display them.
No, it's front. It's front. It's front for something. It's a work. I'm going full Lonzo. It's a work. For sure, it's a work.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
Go to the good one first. Go to the good one first.
All right, now you got me thinking
Go
about
to the
it.
good one first.
I wanted to go to the good one last, but
No,
all
I want to
right.
make sure we have plenty of time.
Okay, fine. Shannon Sharp is Xing.
All right. This is the best thing that happened on the internet this week.
I didn't watch the video. Did you watch the
Yep,
video?
sure did.
Yeah, I there was enough description for me to not have to watch it.
Shannon Sharp yesterday went live on his Instagram. And if you follow Shannon Sharp and you have your notifications turned on, of course, it sends you a little push notice that says Shannon Sharp is live. And Shannon Sharp's got a huge following. Shannon Sharp went live, and Shannon Sharp went live during an adult recreational period with a young lady. And she was vocal. Both in her enjoyment of said adult recreational activities and in at least a couple of spots, her praise of Shannon Sharp in his performance during adult recreational activity time.
By the way, her name apparently is Michelle. Michelle Beadle has already went online and said it wasn't her.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some other people.
Well, I know it wasn't her because
named
she
Michelle.
was with Cody Decker when that happened on their show together.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if any other famous Michelles have went online to say it wasn't them.
No idea. But when Shannon Sharp went live, of course, the comment section just became a running freaking joke of people going, is Shannon broadcasting to the world himself involved in the old bow chicka bow wow right now? And the answer was yes.
One particular line of one person was commenting a bunch.
One person in particular, friend of the show,
Yes.
Ron R. Truth Killings, popped up and was just having a ball. Like when he said things like, he giving her that hawk Tua. Are they? Oh, wait, I need my thing.
What's up, dude? It's not.
My damn Southside. Are they bleeping right now? Excuse my French. Yo, Unk, that's not PG. Hang up the phone, big Unk. Oh, bleep. She said, please, which she did. Oh, damn, this gonna go viral. And LOL, they both out of breath now, which again, they were. I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm not that much of a creep, but I had to make sure that truth was truth in what he was talking about. And he was.
All right. How much of not the whole thing did you watch?
About 15 seconds was all I needed.
Okay. All right.
About 15 seconds. And after that, I was like, I'm not paying a subscription cost
Well, yeah.
to this.
I mean,
All right. Good on you, Unk. Good on you, Shannon. All right. I'm always gonna high five the bro. That's taking advantage of opportunities that present themselves. I just like that my dude Truth popped up and was like, yeah, I'll run play-by-play on this.
Here's the thing, though. Shannon immediately said he was hacked, and now he's already apologized this morning and said it was him.
Here's my quick thing.
Why? Okay.
Here's my quick thing. Number one, why? Why would you not go, yeah, I got the old horizontal bop on yesterday. So what? So what? He's an adult. Who cares?
but also he doesn't want to get fired for the publicity and all that. I mean,
bro, I
'cause,
went live on my Instagram on accident.
Do you not think that if that happened to you, that you wouldn't get called down to the office to have a discussion about it?
I would,
Because
but
you
do you think
absolutely would.
No, but do you think I'm getting fired for it?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Especially if that's your first incident, because I could be wrong. I don't think Shannon has had like a history of social media bleep ups, right? Maybe he has. I don't know.
All right, D, I got time for one more. David Tepper is
Tepper's trending, and we are going to talk about this tomorrow. I meant to talk about it today, ran out of time. But he is trending because apparently Dave Canales got called to the principal's office after the L against New Orleans to have a little conversation. Listen, it is one thing for him to say, I want to have a weekly check-in with my coach. I don't mind that. My question is, does he start directing Dave what to do? And if the answer is yes, then we got a problem. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Bills Dolphins tonight. We'll have a full breakdown and a weekend preview tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Burns football with Cole Bryson, the voice of the Burns Rebels, tonight right here on the Fan Upstate. The Rob Brown Show tomorrow at 6 a.m. on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later.
So you're saying the Rob Brown show is going to be on the Rob Brown show?
He is. I mean, I don't know. Unless I
So-
actually
so-
go live on Instagram for my kid. Then maybe not.
I think while we're bowling today, I think we need to ask the boss if that were to happen, would that person get called down to the office?
Oh, I'm for sure you're
Which
getting called to the office.
which boss are we asking now?
Both. Hey, Steve. If I accidentally broadcast my vocal performance this evening, what's the discipline there? No boom boom for a week.
What if he says it depends on your performance?
Oh, we are treading into dangerous territory right now.
I mean,
hilarious territory.
Remember who we're talking about.
Dangerous,
So,
nonetheless.
yeah. I think just about anywhere you work, that might be a problem.
All right, kids, that's it for us. We got to go do stuff before we go bowling.
Go to field day. Yeah.
Go to.
Got my backpack on, and it's not a hump.
Do I look like I have a hump or something? Have a good day, everyone. Goodbye.